Really? Oh, let's go. They're hard. Easy.
Yeah, in fights like this is when this is bad without it having a cooldown. Oh, fuck you. Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. Woo! Dude, that was fine. That was very close. Too close.
Flashlight. Wait, can I just... Oh, okay. Look on that trees! What?
Quick turn, quick turn. Oh no! We tipped over. How do we fix that? I hear honking. People are honking at us. Does it look like I can do anything? I am totally blocking the entire freeway. Oh no!
Can't get a drink. Respectfully, what an absolute unit.
And Luke, if you haven't subscribed or followed yet, what are you waiting for? Join the chaos and become part of our little family.
Family? What?
Remember, donations are mercy, and I love spoiling my minions. Let's keep this adventure going together. Looking respectfully, of course.
Bro, I don't know why she has to say that so often. Dumbest move I've ever seen in my fucking life! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Going back to lurking. Oh shit, I didn't even say how your day was or anything. Like, I feel rude. But you know what? It's my show. I call the shot. So don't tell me how your day was.
End up that one.
We're about to blow this fucking... Yo, there's a cock in there. What's the chicken doing here?
I'd really love to do the counterattack, but I appreciate the advice to avoid that. I'm not doing that back to forward thing.
no shit. Come on. Based on your account, that beast must be indigenous to the island. Everything besides us is indigenous to this island. You said it fucking can't. Nothing can get through the waters to here. Like, what do you think it was? Do you think some pirate ship brought some lizard that grew out of control?
Ladies and gentlemen, Garfield and friends.
We're ready to party! We're ready. I hope you bring lots of spaghetti. I'm scared. Come on in, come to the place where fun never ends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Dancing, fiesta, romancing, siesta, samba, la bamba. Ay caramba, disguises, surprises, and pies of all sizes. Come on in, come to the place where fun never ends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Come on in, it's time to party with Garfield and friends. Garfield and friends.
And pay attention. There'll be a test at the end.
Now, I'm not gonna front too hard, but I seem to have something of a frog living rent-free in my throat. It's probably not a good idea for me to be getting the random DSP rating from Perez. It's probably not a good idea for me to be constantly doing 9 to 8 to 10 hour streams consistently, especially if it leaves my voice in the state that it currently seems to be in. I got a pitcher full of water here. We'll see how it does me tonight. Maybe, I don't know why, but I feel like I'm not going to be going 10 hours tonight. But hello, and welcome to another swollen _ dingus after dark stream. I hope the evening has found you as well as it has found me. Big ups Unif, the first person here. Big ups Chrono, Perez, yet again. And behind the scenes follow from Conky, aka World _ Conqueror. Okay, so basically, I really wanted to know Life It last night and get the last couple of EX worlds done, but unironically, it was 6 in the morning, and thank goodness I didn't have to clock in the day. It was the rare dingus day off. It's not that rare, but I just couldn't do it. I had to call it at a point in time. 6 a.m. Nearing 2,000 deaths on Monkey Ball will do something fierce to you, and I was beyond zonked. So I called it. I called the L. I accepted the L, and I ate the L. Dingus Day Off segment. Nothing important happened today. The important thing was my throat. My throat approaching a state of deprecation. Hello, BR Joe and Red Animator. Ready for live react to Ethan Ruff on level 1 tomorrow? No. So yeah, I ended with 3 worlds to go and 1 level on this world, but I think we're gonna leave this one, if not for last, close to last, because I don't like it. So fuck it, we're just gonna go right back into it. Big ups to everyone here. We're just gonna continue where we left off. Simple as. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Ready?
Hey, Joe Blanc.
Go!
Okay, so what are we doing here? 28 seconds, 55 regular bananas, and I already have the gold banana. Speaking of water, there's my water right there. Those 2K Fall Gouts, let's fucking go. Only 39 to go. We are undoubtedly gonna get 2,000 Fall Gouts today. So I hope you guys are ready for the big moment. And big ups. Oh, doing great. Thank you for asking. Really do appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Yeah, so I don't gotta worry about the gold banana. Just gotta speed run this part, I guess. Okay. Speaking of logouts,
Ready?
don't worry. I just got to get I just got to readjust myself to the control scheme. You know, it's been like 15 hours since I last played this. Come on. Oh my god. Log out.
Ready?
I probably won't scream as much as I have been on the past couple of streams, because the frog in my throat's really gonna feel it. The frog. So 28 would put it 32? Yeah, 32 seconds. Damn it.
Ready? Go! Ball out.
Oh boy.
Ready?
I am not in my element. But I was supposed to be the balanced character. He feels slippery than he did yesterday. Maybe I should have just kept no lifing it yesterday.
Ball out.
You know, I've not used the break button at all. Maybe that's the key to all this. I forgot what the break button was. It's definitely not B or X. I just gotta pull back more.
Ready? Go!
Hope everyone's having a positive dented Thursday. No, not Thursday, Wednesday. See, now even all the days are blurring into me. Dented Wednesday, day off. Okay, see, okay, 31 seconds. Yeah, was right off. Literally right there.
Ready? Go!
The problem is that part right there, that segment. Oh, maybe this segment too. Wait, hold up, we got it.
Ready? Go!
I need 55 bananas. I need banana, tasty banana. We just go easy now, we don't have to worry about the time limit. Well, I mean, we do, but don't have to worry about the time trial. So as long as I grab both bunches here, I should be fine. Okay. Got it. We got it. We got it. Next one.
Ready? Go!
We already have the time trial, so just 55 bananas. Okay, that's embarrassing.
Ready?
Maybe that's a little easier said than done. I just gotta grab the bunches, right? Ain't that serious. I can't say it. I'm trying not to raise my voice. I'm drinking water, but it probably would have been smarter for me to be drinking some hot tea. Not a sweet tea as I usually am want to do. Damn it. This one isn't that difficult, it's just the bumpers. It's just the bumpers, man. See, that's one. That's two. How did I miss that one? One more bunch. Now I just need to get to the goal. There. We played that one too safe. We could have gotten all those bananas if we wanted to.
Ready? Go!
And this is the one I kept taking a shortcut on. 20 seconds, 75 bananas. So I got until 40 on the clock. Oh my god, we're not making it. We're not. No.
All out. Ready?
Maybe salvageable if I had gotten the boost off. Unlike that one, that was not salvageable. Ball
Ready?
Gao.
Go!
Whoa, is that King Diddy Duke? I'm doxing the fact that he's going online right now. Bonk, 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 bonk. There. With 5 seconds to spare. So now we can focus on the bananas.
Ready?
How much did they want? 75. Fuck you. And your mother. Right? I can't even do my Dave impression. Like, oh man. You see, I don't know if it was because of me screaming all this week on the streams that my voice is starting to give out. It could obviously be because of that. But I did almost choke and die on pozole the other day. I didn't even bring that up. It was yesterday. I had some pozole for lunch. I think I was watching something on my phone. Yeah, and it got to a funny style segment. The pozole was also muy spicy. So while I was consuming, I was literally dying. I like it went down the wrong pipe, and it was nothing I could do. And you know how like stuff like that happens to you, and then even after you recover, like you gather your marbles, you still kind of taste it. You still kind of feel like the food is in your throat or something. It was kind of like that. Except replace that feeling with a feeling of dread and spiciness, because it's literally pozole. It's not no bitch-made pozole. It was a pretty spicy pozole. Well, it could have been that. Though it could have also been the screaming. It could have been a mixture of both things. See, I don't have enough. What the hell? Big ups, Golem. My voice isn't feeling as dingy as it usually does, so apologize if I sound like I'm dying, or if I sound quieter than usual. I got 3 worlds to go, and we're doing it tonight. I may not go as long as I usually do because of that, but we'll see. Well, we'll see how long it takes. I could get like 3,000 Fall Outs, and it could push me to like 4 in the morning again. I just need these fucking bananas. That's all I need. I need these fucking bananas so I can say I'm the one who got all the bananas, and you were not the one.
Hurry up! 10, 9,
But yeah, if it's not Menudo fucking me up, it's fucking pozole.
6,
Fuck.
5, 4, 3, 2,
I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
0.
Oh my god, leave it. Why you gotta believe chat? People were having a meltdown on Twitter or on the Switch too. I did see the leaks. I guess if you want the dingus analysis, I'm not gonna pull them up, but if you saw it, you saw it. I think it's real because it is so boring. Like it's almost too boring to be fake, if that makes sense. Usually fakes try to, you know, be extravagant, make it look like, oh my god, wow, holy shit, that's what it looks like. And then you have these leaks, and it's like, oh, it's the Switch 2. It's the Switch 1 with extra steps.
Ready? Go!
My thought process behind it. I mean, if you're an autist like me, and you put it under some scrutiny, put it under the magnifying glass, you can obviously see some differences there. I mean, if you really think about it, I guess the mentality with them going in was like, don't fix what isn't broken. Like, what do you really need to change about the Switch 1? It's kind of a goated design from the outset. I would say, if anything, fix the Pro Controller. kind of with the system itself, there's really not much you can ask for, right? Especially if you consider the improvements that the OLED already made. If you look at the leaks, it does have the OLED improvements, like the wider kickstand and presumably the Ethernet port. So I guess people were just inclined to believe the Switch 2 would just look completely different. But then you also got to consider the fact that it's being tentatively called the Switch 2. So why would it look that much different from the Switch 1? It's like I don't know, if this was the GameCube era and they announced the GameCube 2 and then the GameCube 2 leaked and it's just the GameCube 1 with extra steps and then being shocked that it looks like that. Well, motherfucker, you're calling it the GameCube 2. You're shocked that it looks like the GameCube 2. It's a very, very odd explanation. Thank you, Diddy Duke, the 7-stream streak. I'm doing the last couple of Worlds in Monkey Ball because despite my promises, I under-delivered. I was not able to finish the game last night. We're talking about the Switch 2 leaks. But yeah, I kind of... You know, I was a bit... I didn't know what to think at first. A little overwhelmed. I was like, oh, okay, that's what it looks like. It's kind of like... you're just happy to know what it looks like, not even really shocked or disappointed. I wasn't disappointed. It was more a feeling of, I'm glad it's over. You know that meme image of, I'm glad it's over, the kid in the yearbook? I'm so glad it's over. It's kind of what I was feeling. I hate leak season. I hate the rumor mill. I hate it with Smash. I hate it even more with consoles, console reveals and whatnot. I want Nintendo to make a statement already. All I want is more power. If the leaks I heard about is power true, it'll be 10 times the powerful, which is insane. Well, the tech they were working with for the Switch 1 was like 2015 chips, right? It's been almost a decade with the advancements in technology. So I always knew, like, just thinking about it, that like there was going to be a substantial power boost. We've come so far in such a relatively short amount of time. Like, the Switch hardware was already honestly outdated when the thing came out. But it's just kind of, you know, it's just kind of the result of research and development taking time. You know, producing the damn thing versus fast forwarding to it being released. It's already kind of outdated because that's just kind of how the tech world is. I mean, shoot, the Switch 2 hardware will probably be dated as well when it finally releases, but it'll still be better than what we were playing with back in 2017.
Ready? Go!
I am impressed by the notion that it's allegedly going to be 12 gigabytes of RAM, which is already more allocated towards games than I believe even the current gen. Oh, no, wait, not current gen, but like, you know, if we're going to compare it to PS4 and Xbox One. It's 12 gigabytes of RAM with only 1 gigabyte dedicated to the OS, so 11 gigabytes of RAM allocated for games. Comparatively speaking, the PS5 has 16 gigabytes of RAM, however, 4 gigabytes are devoted to the operating system. So basically, the same amount, 12 gigabytes of RAM allocated for the games, give or take a gigabyte. It's good to see Switch 2 shoot for that. We've come a long way from the Wii U having 2 gigabytes of RAM, but an entire 1 gigabyte devoted to the OS, leaving just 1 gigabyte for the games. A long way for sure. It's also the reason why the Switch 1, why the UI, as disappointing as this is, you know, the lack of themes, the lack of customization, the reason why this is as bare bones as it is, also too, when you open the eShop or open the Nintendo Switch Online segments, sections of the system, and why they take so long to load, it's because it's all like you're loading a browser page. It's not a part of the operating system, but it's all intentional to keep the RAM down. I think for the Switch 1, it's like 500 megabytes allocated for the operating system, and the rest is allocated for games. And the Switch has 4 gigabytes of RAM, I believe, so 3.5 you can use on your games, give or take. While my Switch 1 games and Switch 1 Joy-Cons work on 2, I'll be happy. Nintendo doesn't want to lose holiday sales for Switch 1. Switch 2 will be March 2025. I can see that being the case. Big ups to Eddie V, the watch streak. 10 times the detail watch streak. Big ups to Eddie V. I'm definitely for sure finishing Monkey Ball today. My voice is a little hoarse. I literally can hear it as I speak. I don't sound like myself. It's either because I've been screaming too much and talking too much and doing so many long streams, or it's because of this fucking pozole I choked on yesterday. Probably both. I got water right now, so I'll live, hopefully. But I promised that I would beat this, and I certainly won't under-deliver. Right? Yeah, the Switch 2 leaked. I think it's real. It's not, of course, not confirmed, and I don't think Nintendo's gonna put out a statement saying, our console got leaked, guys. Sorry, our console's leaked. Like, they're not gonna say that. They're not gonna confirm nor deny. But I think it's real precisely because of how boring the leak is visually. It's basically just a Switch with some refinements. I guess for some reason the people were expecting something completely different, like just a PAL to the WoW. They were expecting, well, you know how the Switch 1 hype was during the Wii U era. Like, people didn't know what to expect, and then they got something that was just completely different visually from the Wii U. So I guess they were expecting that to happen again, but then they see it and it's like, oh, well, this is just the Switch 1, but a little bit more ergonomic, because, you know, when it all boils down to it, it really is just ergonomics. I just hope the Pro Controller's better.
Ready?
Hey, Rencheck and Bayshot. Welcome in. My voice is hoarse, but I will survive. Better to have a hoarse voice than a hoarse wife. Hello, D-Side. You're late, but your watch streak is maintained. Congratulations. Switch was a good 2017 tablet, so by 2024, 10 times the power is reasonable. Yeah, I mean, like, again, the hardware was outdated when the thing came out. But, like, to not completely blame Nintendo, that's just the result of, like, that's just how technology is. You know, it costs money to put the thing together, and then it costs money to market it and mass produce it, and then by the time it comes out, the hardware is just already dated. It's bound to happen to the Switch 2 as well, but the hardware boost, the bump will still be substantial enough that will probably still be good. We won't be calling it, like, truly outdated till, what, like 2027, maybe? Now, I'm not Mr. Specs, but people are looking at the tech and they're like, well, this will probably put it somewhere between a PS4 Pro and an Xbox Series S. Now, I don't know about you, but a PS4 Pro on the go is it's a pretty good deal. You know, it's not a 5, but certainly isn't like a PS3. Remember, people were saying the Wii U wasn't even stronger than the PS3? I don't even think that was completely true, but people used to say that. We've come a long way, certainly. Though it is kind of amusing. It's like, oh, it's between a PS4 Pro and an Xbox Series S. When the Series S is what's been holding back the current generation and sabotaging the Series X.
Ready? Go!
Tangentially. Like, its mere existence forces a bottleneck. Like, you can't get the most out of your Series X precisely because the Series S exists, and because they're considered the same system. Games have to be optimized to run on both, which more often than not fails the Series X, and you can't really get the most out of its performance. Even though I believe the Series X is only marginally better than the PS5, but again, you can't get the most out of that performance because the developers have to cuck their multiplats to get it to run on this fucking all-digital console that nobody wants anyway. Not even Cat. Wii U was awkward, decent GPU had a PS3 and 360, but the CPU was a total joke. Yeah, it's that. I was just saying, I was talking about the RAM, not the CPU, but I was saying the Wii U had 2 gigabytes of RAM, but 1 entire gigabyte was dedicated to the operating system. That's insane. What the fuck were they thinking? No wonder multiplats had a hard time on Wii U. Hey, Gatsberg. You liked your Series S? I like the idea of a Series S, but multiple developers have been calling out that its existence holds back what they can do with the Series X. And I'm sure that applies to not just third-party, but even first-party development. Like, what do they got working right now? Perfect Dark? Yeah, okay, let's just use Perfect Dark as an example. The new one. Like, they'll probably have to make some adjustments to get that to run alright on Series S. And maybe the Series X version will run obviously better, but because they gotta develop it with the Series S in mind, they're not gonna be able to get the most out of what they could have envisioned. Because they gotta like get cucked themselves for this itty bitty little console. This kind of substantiates what we were watching yesterday with the Arlo video, talking about how like, oh, September is gonna be the month we're finally gonna find out about it, and now we're getting like actual leaks, which again, not confirmed, but I believe it because it's boring enough to be real. An actual fake leak would try harder to make it look more different, I would assume. It looks slightly different enough to be a different console, meaning, you know, just make some adjustments and call it the Switch 2. So I believe it. It's not confirmed, but I believe it. But this aligns with what Arlo was saying about how this is going to be the month where they finally reveal it in full. I don't know what the date's going to be. He was like, oh, they filmed the trailer, they're going to reveal it, I think a week is too soon. If the report came out last week, it's like, oh, they just got done filming a commercial. I think 1 week is a bit too soon to like cut the promo and get the editing all together. But I don't work in marketing. And they did fly all those developers in. You know, that part wasn't that wasn't part of the rumor mill. That was actually confirmed. They did fly in some developers for some you know, unexpressed reason. They didn't talk about it. They talked about them going there, but they didn't give us the reason as to why they went there. But we all know why.
Out. Ready? Go!
It's an exciting time. I can't wait to see obviously the final reveal.
Ready?
Then you got Rockstar over there. Rockstar leaking Red Dead Redemption 1 on PC at last. So the question remains, given that Red Dead was DSP's first retro replay react whatever re-upload, is DSP going to promote his gaming PC by playing Red Dead 1 again on PC, fully remastered from the ground up? And the answer is no, because he will not want to download the Rockstar Games launcher. Damn it.
Ready? Go!
You don't think so? But he loved RDR 1, bro. He was like, yeah, man, it's classic. I don't even think he would replay GTA 4 if they re-released it on PC. Oh, on PC, but like remastered it. You know what I mean. Because it already is on PC. They did recently redo it for console, Red Dead 1. I had forgotten about that. It was just such a lazy... I don't want to say lazy. It was just kind of like, okay, here it is. Wasn't really anything special to do with it. It's like, okay, yeah, there it is. It was only for PlayStation also, which is kind of interesting. Though I think they digitally did the same enhancements to the Xbox version. They just didn't have like a physical copy. He's calling the upcoming Dead Rising a remaster, now calling what he played in 2016 a remake. They... Oh, no, I know what you're talking about. So, oh, yeah, they did put that on PS4 again, didn't they? They remastered it, and now they're remaking it. So we were talking about it yesterday, and people couldn't decide whether it was a remake or a remaster. And I think even someone said it was more like an in-between.
Ready?
He said he's gonna play the new Zelda game. What's weird, if you look at his schedule, he's like, he's gonna start playing the casting of, is it Frank Stone? The Dead by Daylight situation. Goon's favorite game. The narrative version.
Ready? Go!
It's like the Minecraft story mode, but for Dead by Daylight. Why is he playing that? Fuck if I know. He's a big Dead by Daylight fan, maybe. Which Super Monkey Ball is new player best for Switch? I would actually say... Where is it? So this one right here, Banana Blitz, that's the Wii one that has jumping enabled. I don't know if you can find this one in stores anymore, but it's obviously still on the eShop. This one has a jump button. I would say this is the one to get for like you're a beginner. So there's that one. Where the fuck is the other one? Banana Mania is a re-whatever of the first two games put together for the modern audience. The levels are extremely bullshit and there is no jumping. This is for the advanced pro person and schizophrenic style. And then I think a humble, modest in-between would be this game. Still no jumping, but the courses are moderate. I would put them at above the ones from Banana Blitz, but under the original ones from Banana Mania. So for beginner style Banana Blitz, then work your way to Banana Rumble, and then do Banana Mania if you really want to see pure insanity. Big ups MTC, dude. We're talking about the Switch 2 leaks, and we're talking about Red Dead 1 on PC, and whether or not Dave will replay it, because he just did a retro react replay of it on his nonsense throwbacks account. Shit. Banana Blitz is a baby game for Wii. I know that! That's why I recommended that one. As far as extra modes go too, Banana Mania is the longest. And this would be second, and then Banana Blitz is the shortest and easiest. I need that banana bunch. Pick up Pim Pam. The monkey business never ends. We're almost done. 3 worlds to go. 3 worlds in a funeral. My voice is hoarse, but work with me. We'll get to the end together. Shit. Deku Deals has Banana Blitz on special at Walmart. I would go for it. Deku Deals? That sounds like some My Hero shit.
Ready?
There's certain YouTubers been saying the Switch 2 reveal is gonna be on the 19th. I guess we'll find out if they're right. That's tomorrow! Now wait a minute! DSP's gonna have to cancel his whole pre-stream. Dude, he'll watch the reveal live. Well, not live. He'll watch it live on the podcast after the fact. I'm gonna have to sneak a peek while clocked in, because they usually do reveals at like 9 in the morning. It's usually the time that the Twitter account is active. Fuck. This time.
Ready? Go!
Right now, the world's official time zone? You know what he meant! September 20th for Japan, of course. Well, actually, if it's gonna be at 9 in the morning, it'll still be the 19th for Japan. So wait a minute. He was right.
Ready? Go!
Oh, shoot.
Ready? Go!
I joined the Extra Life again, MTC, because I saw that Tevin was already starting the fundraising. I gotta think up some positive goals once game day rolls around. No, I still gotta honor the ones from last year by completing GTA 1. I didn't forget about it! It's next on the list to conveyor belt. Need to make a webpage for Extra Life. I reused my ones from previous years. I just, you know, a little emotional appeal, like, you know, just talked about my local children's hospital and gave a little anecdote about how they helped me out when I was growing up. Damn it!
Ready? Go!
People can stream from wherever they want, and fans can use the page. I was thinking like just linking the team page Since yeah, like a page like what you're talking about is a good idea. I was just gonna link the team page and say, hey, pick whatever the tractor you want and help out. For me, it's just nice to do that stuff every year. Like, it's not even about, oh, we're detractors and we're raising money to blow Phil the fuck out. It's like, that's the nice cherry on top, but I don't even think of it like that. It's kind of like, it just feels good to kind of give it back. You don't even have to be a Catholic, dude. Damn it! I got distracted reading DD Duke's comic.
Ready?
Or Hyper Bags review is GTA 6, and this is how you don't play GTA 6 more than the actual GTA 6 game itself. Speaking of Synthetic, he's live right now playing the Dead Rising remaster. Now, I thought he said he wasn't gonna play that, but I might have misremembered. Yeah, I killed D-Sive's streak. That stream I was playing the Mario fan games. That's what killed it for a lot of people. No. Sounds like he's saying puto whenever he falls. I didn't think this level would take me that long. 30 seconds, 50 bananas. I don't even have the gold banana here. That's tough. Oh yeah, this is the only one of the new Monkey Balls, Mr. Lion, that has this stupid-ass spin dash. Like, I feel like I'm Sonic whenever I use this. Which is funny, because they're both Sega properties. Probably where they got the idea. But it's a lame mechanic. I hope they don't bring this back. So many of these levels are dependent on the spin dash. It just feels like a lazy substitute for level design.
Ready? Go!
If they remaster Barbie Horse Adventures, but now she's in a burqa, Synthetic Man will have to make a video. And he is not. He doesn't play meme games, you guys.
Ready?
Minus that Alex Jones game. I do need to get good. Case in point, I'm also going to be one of the few people to probably 100% this game. What's wrong with me? You know, let me just do the time trial first. What could go wrong? Oh my god. I can't even do the time trial. Where's the fall gout counter at the bottom? It doesn't count if I reset the level. It only counts if it's a death. Time overs don't count either. Time overs are not fall gouts.
Ball out.
See, that's a fall gout.
Ready? Go!
True, Eddie B. It doesn't count if I restart it before the fall gout. Because, like, officially the fall gout did not happen. Banana's right there. No!
Ready? Go!
Do I need to be baby or something? Do we have to actually be baby? Thank you, Seal, the 3-stream streak. Do I actually have to be baby? Fucking hate baby. If we counted the time overs and restarts, Dingo would be in the 3000s by now, probably.
Ready? Go!
See, baby's faster, but he's looser to control. He's always, I'm pretty sure the speedrunners exclusively play as baby. No matter what Monkey Ball game it is, because he's always just kind of like the fast one. It's gonna be right here. Okay, that's time trial. No, big ups on Stellaris. 50 bananas in the golden. I know where the gold banana is. Each banana obviously counts as 1. The bunches count as 10. And I think if you can get every banana on a stage, which isn't always possible, you'll get an extra 10 bananas just for doing that. Speaking of bananas, when are they gonna put DK64 on NSO so I can torture myself with a playthrough doing 101% live? Or no, it's 201% for DK, I think. Or is it... It has 201 golden bananas. I would do it. I would stream DK64. They just gotta force me to pay $60 for it. I could emulate it right now with the tag barrel mod that lets you switch monkeys whenever you want. Okay, that's golden banana. We'll go for the goal. One more time for the regular bananas.
Ready? Go!
100% banana OG DK on the SNES before it was even a thing. What? I really like that game. I like how, like, the first Donkey Kong Country is the only one that lets you play as Donkey Kong. What the fuck you call it Donkey Kong Country then, bitch? That'll make no sense. Rare was on one. And there was that rumor that Miyamoto was jealous of Donkey Kong Country because that was made by Englishmen and not based Nippon. But then when the Wii one came out, he was like, "Oh, that was just a rumor, guys. I wasn't jealous about that game. No, honest, I wasn't seething. You're the one." I actually was heavily involved in the development of Donkey Kong Country, guys. But the old saying goes, old wives' tale, is that he got embarrassed that, you know, they were able to put out Donkey Kong Country on their system when they're like a second party, they're not first party directly. So they ended up putting more... The reason Yoshi's Island looks the way it looks is because they wanted to do it in 3D to compete with Donkey Kong Country. But time constraints and whatnot, they ended up making Yoshi's Island look the way it does. But they went all in on the aesthetic they chose for Yoshi's Island to make it stand out that much more relative to Donkey Kong. And I think they did a good job. Both games look great and fantastic for the time, for different reasons. I think weird endings in games are a satisfying substitute from a trophy. I don't really Chivo hunt like that. I do 100% when I can, but I don't really Chivo. I consider Chivo and trophy hunting to be outside of the requirements for 100%, because the Chivos are through the OS of the game system, whereas percentages is like tracked by the game itself. The game doesn't track achievements like on PlayStation and Xbox, if that makes sense. And sometimes an achievement requires you to do shit that the game itself doesn't track, but the system tracks. So like, let's say an achievement is collect 500 regular bananas. The game never tracks that, but the system does. So the game will never acknowledge that you did that achievement, but the system will. So I'm like, well, the game doesn't achievement it, and it's not a part of the percentage. So does it actually count for 100%ing? It counts for your platinum and your diamond Chivo, but does it count for percentage? That's why sometimes speedrunners will do like, won't they do like platinum categories, like, and they'll consider that separate from like 100%, 101%. I know low percent runs and stuff like that were a big thing once upon a time. I think they still are. DK Country on SNES was literally pushing the system to its limit. We don't ever see any game on a console actually push console anymore. It's sad. Well, it just kind of like it was a different time, of course. Like the consoles were way more limited in what they could do. You kind of see that now with the Switch and how, like, especially with multiplats, developers will sometimes have to do they'll have to work some black magic, dark wizardry to get games running on the Switch. You see that with Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal on Switch. So you do kind of get that to a lesser degree today. But it was a bit more special back then.
Ready? Go!
Wii U was the last console, PC, Xbox One, or PCs. The Switch is a tablet. Well, I mean, if you want to be real extra, like every console's a PC. It's just like it's a capped PC with a ceiling that can never be improved, unlike your real PC. Okay, that's good. I just gotta be careful, be calm, be calm. Got it. Yeah, it's crazy how like we're still struggling to even do like 1080p 60 frames. I think I read something that said like out of the current generation, like Switch of all consoles has the most games that can do 1080p 60 frames. Now again, that comes with like detriments to it as well. So like Smash is one of them, but Smash has to do a lot of dark magic and wizardry to look the way that it does. But it still is an objective fact that it is 1080p 60 frames. Hey Carl.
Ready?
Carl, my voice is a bit hoarse today. We got a throat, a frog in the throat, but I'm still here because I love you. I want to provide that content. It's what happens when you do like multiple 8-hour streams a week. I'll drink something hot. I felt like I wanted water instead of like, you know, soda or tea or something, but I feel like I should have been drinking hot tea instead. Not coffee.
Ready? Go!
I need a good old mug of hot tea with honey. That's what I need. I'll brew it up later tonight. We're talking about the Switch 2, Carl. I know you're hyped about it. We're talking about console limitations and how developers used to do so much more with what they were given, the tools that they had, or more like lack thereof. They did more with what they didn't have. No, they made magic with what they had to work around what they did not have. 45 bananas, 20 seconds. Dang it.
Ball out. Ready? Go!
Refuse to enable mic until you got the right qualities of donos and then have the right amount of dead air for your health. That is a good idea. Too bad it's too late to do that. Ah! That's my 24 hours right there, Pim Pam. 8 hours of monkey ball, 8 hours of work, and then 8 hours of sleep. Literally no time for anything else in between. You don't even get like 5 minutes to transition from one thing to the next. It's just like immediately, like snap. Snap! Okay, onto work. Okay, onto monkey ball. Okay, on to sleep. Yeah, we need a secretary. That's what we need. While we're on the subject of Miyamoto. Hold up. No.
Ball out. Ready? Go!
$30 for the mic and $50 for the model to appear? It's ridiculous. But not so ridiculous that people in reality wouldn't do it. Dale. 30 for the cam, 30 for the mic, 50 for the face cam.
Ball out. Ready? Go!
Big up Spinion. Whoa, it's easy money. Big ups, back from Kangaroo Court ahead of schedule. Trial is rescheduled and we're going to have the case in front of another judge because the lady we were in front of was, something. It was a rare case of the judge being at fault. You only ever see that from criminals attempting to cope. The judge must recuse themselves because I said so, okay?
Ready? Go!
Oh yeah, Minion, we just got done talking about the Switch too. Yeah, I saw it. I believe it precisely because of how visually boring it is. It ain't nothing but Switch 1 with some adjustments, that's why I believe it. It's completely realistic. In their heart of hearts, people were expecting like a complete revamp in design, like going from Wii U to Switch 1. But realistically, all they kind of have to do is just bump up the internal stuff. It's not really... Externally, the Switch is fine, you know, maybe round out the grips a little bit, I don't know. They made changes to it, but it's not anything that's like gonna wow people spectacularly if you were to fake leak it. So that's why I think it's legit.
Ready? Go!
Dang it. Oh, dang it.
Ready?
I had one more thing I wanted to say on Miyamoto, and now I completely lost a train of thought. I was talking about him with Donkey Kong Country and Yoshi's Island. Oh, Banjo-Kazooie. When Banjo-Kazooie was coming out, there was an article that got published about the Nintendo 64's first-party publishing, how the game schedule was going that year of '98. Miyamoto said they had to delay Ocarina of Time because of Banjo-Kazooie coming out, and he said he played Banjo-Kazooie, like he demoed it before it was released, and it made him, like he couldn't play it for a length of time because it made him, well, I'm not gonna say it made him ill, but he was envious. He was envious of what they were able to achieve with Banjo-Kazooie. And then he coped about it by saying, like, I don't know if Japanese people are necessarily gonna be into this. I don't know if this character design is something that's really going to appeal to the domestic Japanese market. It was an ancient interview. I think it was done with IGN back in the day. I had forgotten about it till I read an archive of it the other day. He delayed Ocarina of Time, and he was like, well, I guess we gotta delay because like Banjo-Kazooie's coming out. Like, I don't know how that game's gonna appeal to people, but I can't play that game for too long because it just... and he expressly made sure to say, oh, we're not really... It's not like a competition with Rare or anything. There's nothing wrong with some healthy competition, Miyamoto. I get it, right? It's like you make a system, and obviously you want the first-party stuff to be like the best games technically and visually on the system, and then you get this, and like the funny thing is like these guys are on their side, like they were a second party at the time, they were partners and whatnot. You get partners enlisted to help you produce games, and the partners make games that are almost visually as good, or perhaps even better looking than your first-party stuff that you make. But Miyamoto could not handle it.
Hurry up! 10. Ready? Go!
This guy was more impressed with Banjo than his own creation, Mario 64. I compared it to Ocarina. He specifically mentioned Ocarina. Nintendo screwed up by not buying Rare before Microsoft did. I think the thing was, and I know it is kind of bullshit because Rare really did help to bolster the N64's library, especially the N64. Like, a lot of the good games on there are just the Rare games that were out. They really knew how to squeeze the most out of the N64, especially by the time of, like, Conker's Bad Fur Day. 2001 does not require the expansion pack, but looks beautifully. Like, they went from DK64 needing the expansion pack to do all those amazing lighting tricks, all the way to Banjo-Tooie and Conker not requiring it, not even for, like, performance boosts or resolution or anything like that. The whole game on just a big old cartridge. But, on that same note, I think they were getting the idea that, like, Rare... I don't think it was, like, spite or anything. Like, it was nothing nefarious. I think they were starting to feel as if the output that they were putting out was not what it was when their partnership started. like there were like suspicions of game quality concerns when it came to what they were being presented with for their games on the GBA, because they were going to make GBA games too, and they did end up making games for the GBA and DS. Microsoft allowed them to after the purchase because, you know, Microsoft isn't in the handheld market, so they continued to put out like a couple Donkey Kong games, the remakes on GBA, and they also did some Banjo games on GBA, which, you know, you would think Microsoft would not allow, but again, like, Microsoft was not in the handheld business, so they allowed it. And of course, Diddy Kong Racing got remade on DS as well. But back to what I was saying. At first, when they were still a partner with Nintendo, the games that they were showing to them for Game Boy Advance were kind of like shit. They obviously were suffering from some production difficulties. Banjo had like a plane racing spin-off called Banjo Pilot, and that was originally under development as Donkey Kong Pilot, or Diddy Kong Pilot. Diddy Kong Pilot. It was going to be a handheld sequel to Diddy Kong Racing from N64. But the demos they were showing to Nintendo just... It was concerning to them. They were not impressive. And it was kind of like the project lacked focus. And that game... It was first shown off in 2001. And that game took like 4 years of development, even after the buyout. And eventually it did get released after getting a retool. It got retooled as Banjo Pilot with Banjo-Kazooie characters because they lost the DK license after they were bought out. And that game, again, was like just kind of like just okay. And then they had some other weird shit too. Like they wanted to do a Donkey Kong puzzle not even a platform, just a puzzle game. But it just like, it had nothing to do with Donkey Kong. It was just kind of using Donkey Kong's likeness. It was just using the IP and attaching it to a game genre that had nothing to do with Donkey Kong. Now, I'm not saying Nintendo hasn't done that before or since then, but that was kind of like, you know, why did that have to be a Donkey Kong game? So after the buyout, that game also had production difficulties and eventually got released in 2005 as like Mr. Pants. It's Mr. Pants. And again, it was kind of like, I was just okay, but it certainly wasn't a rare masterpiece like they used to make. So I see it as not even really like spite or anger, but more like seeing the writing was on the wall. And then of course you had DK64, which is like collectathons to the extreme. Like you know how people feel about that game. And Banjo-Tooie was just kind of more a DK64. Like, a lot of Banjo fans don't really like what Tooie did. Like, they consider Kazooie and Tooie to be, like, two different styles of platformer. 3D platformer. Where Banjo-Tooie is, like, a lot of... almost Metroidvania in how Tooie requires you to backtrack between worlds. And the people that loved Kazooie hate the backtracking. Because those people prefer to just play a game and, like, complete a level 100% and be one and done with it. But Tooie requested that you backtrack so fucking much to 100% a level that you're never able to fully complete a level on your first trip. You always have to go back to it with a move that you learn in a later level. Now, I'm familiar with that from shit like... Fuck, this fucking SpongeBob games on PS2 did that shit. It didn't bother me when I played Tooie, because I had played other games that did shit like that. But I guess it's like this, I don't know. I want to say a Spyro mentality, because Spyro, you can 100% the levels on the first visit, except, like, there's some exceptions for Spyro 2, but it's like one or two tasks. And even Banjo-Kazooie has it, but again, it's just one task. Whereas Tooie, it's the entire game is backtracking. But I did like how Tooie tried to do the open world, interconnected open world. It was like one of the earliest examples of that in a game, I think. An interconnected world, seamless, well, not seamless because it has a bunch of loading zones, but it was presented like an open world, and I liked that. And Jak and Daxter did kind of the same thing a year later, without loading zones. Whereas I guess Kazooie people prefer like the isolated set pieces of you just warping into a world without it being connected directly to the hub world. Be similar to how Mario 64 did it, where the levels in Peach's Castle aren't directly connected, you just kind of warp to the level. It's a bit more classical versus the levels actually being a part of the hub world. But that's kind of what I'm getting at. And of course, Banjo-Tooie, when it came out, had a bunch of... it didn't run the best on... If you go back to the N64 version, it runs like shit. Maybe they should have required it to use the expansion pack for the frame rate, because that shit could run at like 10 frames a second on the Hailfire Peaks and other levels with a lot of effects going on. So you had the performance issues, and then it... depending on how you ask, it was an alright game as a follow-up to Kazooie, but I don't think everyone was satisfied with Tooie. So you got that, you got DK64, and then you have Conker's Bad Fur Day and everything that happened with that game. They didn't even want to promote it in their magazines. They published it. I think they still published it, but they didn't want to mention it. They gave it a foutoir, like it did if they memory hold it.
Ready? Go!
And they didn't even want to publish it in Europe either. So like you spend all this time making these games, and they got like performance issues. The GBA games had quality concerns. DK64 was collectathon, possibly the most extreme collectathon to have ever existed. And then you got like you're putting production time into a game like Conker's Bad Fur Day, and then like that game fucking bombs, nobody buys it, it's not marketed, they don't even want to publish it in Europe, and you spent time on that when you could have been working on like the GBA games that they had issues over. You could have been working on GameCube games. They did make a GameCube game. We're gonna get to that. But you kind of see like what I'm getting at, right? Where we started the N64 with like Killer Instinct Gold, Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing. There's games that were like always, they were always hits, guaranteed. And then you kind of end with more games that are kind of like middle of the road. We gotta like debate over these games and whether or not they're actually good. Oh, how can I forget GoldenEye? Of course, GoldenEye, towards the beginning of the system's lifespan. So like what Rare started the system with was a little bit different in terms of quality compared to how they ended the system. And again, I like DK64 and I like Banjo-Tooie and I like Conker's Bad Fur Day. But I think they saw the writing on the wall that they were kind of like, we kind of like gotta cut these guys loose. And because they would have put up a bigger fight with the Microsoft thing. It's not like Microsoft came in and then showed the money and it's like, okay, yeah, you guys belong to us now. Like there are negotiations and shit that come with that. So I think they kind of took the L, and they just let him get bought out. Because you think if they truly like wanted Rare to stick around, like they could have just forked over the money and like, okay, we'll buy you out so that Xbox doesn't own you. But they didn't. They were happy to let him go. And if you really think about it, like what did they end up making after Microsoft bought them? Connect Sports, Grabbed by the Ghoulies, which is that's a really goofy game. I do have that game, but it's really it's like Banjo-Kazooie. This is not, you know. Viva Pinata. It's like that game has like a niche, but.
Ready? Go!
And I'm sure it all comes down to the nitty-gritty of it too, where it's like the specific employees who are probably with Rare from the good old days were probably no longer with them during the Microsoft days. I know the founders left a little bit after Microsoft bought them as well. You should always consider stuff like that too. It's not just the company, but like who is within the company. You see that all the time when it's like people want them to make a new Crash by Naughty Dog. Bro, I don't think you want a new Crash by Naughty Dog. Like the people there in '96 are not the people there now, you know what I'm saying?
Hurry up!
But yeah, I think they were just okay to let him go. And even if you look at the final thing they came out for Nintendo on the GameCube, we're gonna get to the GameCube era now. They came out with Star Fox Adventures, which is like peakest of peak. You know, depends on who you ask if that game was good or not. It's got an audience among furries, I suppose. Was it truly a despicable, terrible game? Not really. It's like a Star Fox Zelda clone. But do we need Zelda clones when Nintendo already makes Zelda, you know? and it wasn't bad, but it's like, again, like comparing Rare from the golden days to even the end of the Nintendo era. Like, they were putting out Banjo-Kazooie, Diddy Kong Racing, GoldenEye, and then you go to the end right before even the buyout, it's like Star Fox Adventures. Ugh. Like, bro, you just go buy Metroid Prime. Another game made by a second party that wasn't Nintendo directly. I do think they had I do think they had a lot of confidence and faith in Nintendo, because people like to say that they punished Rare by taking away Dinosaur Planet, which was the game that Star Fox Adventures was gonna be, until Miyamoto saw the demo at an E3, and then went behind doors and told them, well, how would you guys like to, you know, turn that into a Star Fox game? People act like Miyamoto directly commanded Rare to turn that into a Star Fox game, but it was more of a partnership. Like, you know, we think this will really help get more eyes on the game. I don't think that was like mean. I don't think that was like it was a business decision, obviously, by the end of the day. But I don't think that was like a direct order or command. I think that was like them putting a lot of faith in a partner developer that they worked with to use one of their IPs to make a game. That was before they would do that often. And then in the GameCube era, you had more cases of that. Like, they had Sega make them an F-Zero. They had Namco make them Mario Baseball and Star Fox Assault. They had Konami make Dance Dance Mario Revolution. So you could see how, like, even though the game itself was kind of mid and average, and probably was what let them, you know, just be okay with selling Rare, or allowing Rare to be purchased, rather, you could still see how the idea, the concept of allowing third parties to work on their IPs, you can see how, like, that kind of started with Star Fox Adventures, and then they were just kind of more acceptable with doing that as the years went by, especially during the GameCube era. Even like looking at now, you still have like Namco making Smash Brothers with Sakurai's assistance, of course, and his little rinky-dink team at Sora.
Ready?
Sorry, I know. I'll read chat. I know this is a very interesting discussion we're having. I don't know even now how we got here. But yeah, that's why they were okay with just Rare being bought out, because what they were putting out was not what they were putting out when the partnership had started. I think people are more willing to accept that now than they were back then, because back then it just felt like people could not believe it. Like, why didn't Nintendo put up a fight to keep Rare? Well, I guess if you look at the GameCube's library and like what they ended up coming out with the GameCube, it's almost like they didn't need to. The GameCube was kind of fine without Rare making more games for them. They're kind of all right. You had your Wind Waker, your Double Dash, your Sunshine. You know, people pog out over those games. I'm sure Rare would have put out some bangers if they were still with Nintendo for the GameCube era. But I think the GameCube ended up doing all right without needing Rare. So I guess you can say we're still in the darkest timeline, because we still don't have a new Banjo. We still don't have a new Conker. They'll make merchandise for them, but we still don't have a new Banjo or Conker. So was it even really worth it in the end?
Hurry up! 10, 9, 8.
They should let Rare make games for the Switch, because the Switch is a handheld if you really want to think about it. Dang it. Okay, now for the positive contribution talking segment. I'm gonna scroll all the way up. Miyamoto self-felt it, he did. Rare's previous owners did offer to sell to Nintendo, but they could only muster a half-hearted offer, so they sold to Microsoft. Right, there it is. I knew I was missing a piece of the story. So they did offer to kind of solidify it, but that fell through because Nintendo, you know, as you said, put up the half-hearted offer. Again, probably because they felt the writing was on the wall with their output, following the, you know, the good start they had with the N64's launch. So that's why they were just kind of okay with letting Rare be bought out. And so, DK64 broke Miyamoto as well, so he forced his underlings to use the expansion pack for Majora's Mask. DK64 was planned from the beginning. The earlier stages was planned to use the expansion pack. There's been kind of a rumor that like a bug forced them to ship it with the expansion pack to cover up for the bug existing. That's like a half-truth. Yeah, the Dole product placement update rolled out yesterday, Duke. DK64 stinks, so much backtracking and banana coloring system. Banjo-Tooie actually has more backtracking than DK64. Not to say that DK64 doesn't have it, because I know you'd learn new moves in that game, but it's not to as fierce of a degree. Microsoft slacking on Hold and Rare, like they could make a GoldenEye with these IPs. Platformers are still fun. Look at Psychonauts 1 and 2. The thing is like I think it's just a case like the people at Rare like aren't the people who were there when they were making the good shit. Like they're just people that are just working on Sea of Thieves, Everwild, that game coming out. But it's not the I don't think the Banjo people aren't even there. They were the people coming out with like fucking Yooka-Laylee. But Yooka-Laylee was like a kind of a scam all its own because they were acting like, oh, it's all the old Banjo devs you remember and love, and it's like maybe 2 or 3 people from the original Banjo team. Now, to be fair, they were like the main people, but it was more than just 2 or 3 people working on Banjo-Kazooie. It's again the figurehead thing we were talking about yesterday, where it's like so many of these games don't get proper credit. It's always one person gets remembered for making these good games, when it's always a team of people. It's a team effort. A group effort went into making these amazing, iconic masterpiece games, but they only ever get remembered as being the work of one person. So then you have something like Yooka-Laylee, which comes around, or other Kickstarters are accused of doing this too. Look at anything Inafune was involved with. But they'll say, oh, like we got all the old devs you remember, and it's literally just 2 or 3 people. And sure, it's the main people that people remember. It's the figurehead people, but it's not the gruntlings who, you know, put all the magic. Like it's not the gruntlings that made the magic happen. It was the idea guy. It's also a GPM raid. Party 9. Big ups GPM, thank you for the raid. Conker was hard to sell for the game for the era that it came out. You had parents thinking it was for kids, making kids lunatic because of Lieberman and Tipper-Gore. Yeah, they did try to put warnings on it, and then also, of course, it was M-rated, but you still had parents complaining about it existing anyway, and certain retailers like KB Toys refused to sell it outright. GoldenEye did not age well, but the multiplayer is fun. Yeah, you gotta, like, I talked about it before, you gotta reconfigure your whole controller to get it to work fine on NSO. I had fun with it when I played it multiplayer a couple weeks ago. And thank you for the GPM shuffle. Tried playing Grab by the Ghoulies, it's whatever. I didn't hate it. The art style wasn't appealing, and I didn't really like the gameplay loop.
Well, I guess it must be a shame when you can't.
It was sort of like a corridor simulator. Or like how you have those model houses, those model doll houses. It was like I was in a little doll house running around. Nintendo got the revenge for Banjo. They made their own Ocarina of Miyamoto Force. Oh yeah, we ended up talking about Dinosaur Planet and Star Fox. They actually commissioned Star Fox Assault while they were glazing up Rare to make Star Fox Adventures. So they had glazed up Rare and told them that Star Fox Adventures was going to be the be-all, end-all. Then, double talk, behind the scenes, Miyamoto was already commissioning Star Fox Assault with Namco to make like a real Star Fox game on the GameCube before the end of the GameCube's lifespan. After the NES and SNES, Nintendo 64 and GC were big failures. They did sell less than their counterparts. That is true. That's why Nintendo gave up on the console wars and made low-power systems. No, that part's not true. And big ups Alpha Elite TV. Played GoldenEye on the Series X, still super fun, single-player akin to Doom. I think the Series X version does have the modern controls. Like, you're not playing it as the controls were originally intended. Yeah, the GoldenEye on Series X, it's like a re-whatever. The Switch version is just a straight-up the OG version, so you do have to mess around with the controller systems for the Switch version. But as like a trade-off, the Series X version doesn't have online play. Whereas on Switch, you can battle it out with your friends, and you can play as Odd Job and dodge all the bullets. Yeah, welcome in GPM. We're doing more Monkey Ball Suffering. I just got a couple of worlds to go. Hopefully my sanity can maintain itself. We're talking about how Nintendo fucking blew it by letting Microsoft buy out Rare, right? Ancient as fuck 20-year-old, literally 20-year-old game industry drama. Oh wait, I'm good on bananas.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
No!
Fall out.
This whole time I thought I needed 55.
Ready? Go. Ready?
It's not even like they warped the controls, it's more like they mapped them incorrectly. Fuck this fucking game, man. Almost 2,000.
Ready? Go.
Ultimately, it's a shame because it makes you wonder what could have been if they stuck with Nintendo, like what they would have put out for GameCube. Like, oh my god, Banjo 3E on the GameCube. Whoa! For sure, surely it would have to be better than their Xbox output.
Ready? Go.
Fucking Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts. I feel like people have come around on that game ever since its release. But it's not Banjo-Kazooie. If people were already hating on 2E, they sure as shit were hating on nuts and bolts. Let me fucking drive around in fucking cars. That's what I want to do. It's a good game, just not a good X game. I hear that one all the time. I played a little bit of it, but I could not get into it. I'm sorry. I don't want to build cars. I want to jump around and collect MacGuffins.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, go.
There.
Ready?
Wait, did I get the golden banana for that level? I think I did. 26 seconds, 55 bananas. You know, sometimes I will have done the time trial as part of a world tour or a time attack, but it doesn't count if you do it in a different mode. I think we're good with that. Yeah, what the hell? That was easy. 55 bananas now.
Ready? Go.
And I don't think there are any bunches in this level. Wait. Okay, no, that's a golden banana. Yeah, back to what started the discussion. I wouldn't mind if they just ported DK64 to Switch, because then you would have online, because it does have multiplayer. It's got a multiplayer component where you can beat up each other as monkeys, and then, you know, just to like give it a second opinion. I do have it on N64, but of course frame rate doesn't run the best. It was emulated. It was emulated on Wii U, and they got rid of the frame rate issues when it was on Wii U. And they could do the same thing with Banjo Tooie if they put that on an NSO, get rid of the frame rate issues, have it run well. Online multiplayer for the... They got like a GoldenEye deathmatch mode in Banjo Tooie with the same controls as GoldenEye. So you could do that online. And I know it's on Xbox already through Rare Replay. That's how I replayed it recently. But, you know, it's still nice to have, like, that OG version available, accessible.
Ready?
And I know, again, it's like, oh, Dingus, you can emulate it. But to counterpoint, just because you can emulate something, that means you know, the actual company should just never re-release it again, or remaster it, or make it emulatable, or port it. Like, okay, you can that's not how business works, idiot. People want them to do emulated versions of the old Pokemon games. You think people are gonna just accept it if Game Freak was like, no, we're not gonna do that. You guys can just emulate it. I get the argument, but like from a business standpoint, it probably doesn't suffice. Oh yeah, just emulate it, guys. You already emulate it, so why would we make you pay to emulate it? Well, obviously because that would be good for business, right? Correct? It's an argument that makes sense from the player perspective, but not from a business perspective. DK64 on Switch returning the frame drops on Switch, even though it's fixed on a Wii U just because. Following 64 or 60 frames on Switch, but the physics are broken in some stages. I haven't tried out Pilot Wings. Ever. Not even on Switch, I've never played it. Never did. But don't give me that monkey's paw. I hope it's, I hope the frame rate is fixed if it's ever brought over. Yeah, I know I blew it. All I want is banana, tasty banana. That's why, but going back to it, that's why I personally look at that, like, when it comes to just re-releasing shit, like, oh, you can just emulate it. It's not a good excuse, at least for the company. Like, Nintendo would not get away with saying, for like games preservationist perspective, they wouldn't get away with saying, why would we re-release our old games? You can just emulate all of them. It would still be cool for them to do re-releases, because it's more than just like re-releasing the game. It's like an acknowledgement to like the IP. It's giving it, you know, digging it out of the closet. You guys got PCs, right? Just emulate it, bro. Oh my god, baby.
Ready? Go!
Pilot Wings is what Flight Sim is today. I've seen gameplay of both the SNES version and N64 version, because I've never, like, played it. Closest I got to playing it was like a WarioWare minigame, or the newest one. It has a Pilot Wings minigame. Oh god. 55. I need one more banana bunch. Thank you, GPM. The 10 stream streak. GPM, I have seen the final episode of Shoshimen. It's only 10 episodes long. They're gonna do a second half in April. I love the entire show. Some people were seething when we watched it, but it's like, if you just paid attention, GPM, the show made sense. Yeah, 2025, April. Konami made a Castlevania DS collection this year. No PS4 Xbone version. Xbox, wasn't that like licensing issues? A lot of devs had issues porting stuff to Xbox, not because of the hardware. I know we were talking about Series S stuff earlier, but like not because of the hardware, but just because of licensing. Like Microsoft being Microsoft and being incompetent. He's gonna do something with that reported dude. My only complaint is the ending was too early. But it's not. It is an ending for that first half, but it's not like. So it's adapted from novels. Like that wasn't the end of the That wasn't the end of the story in the novel. It's awkward framing as a result of that just being where the show kind of cuts off. Yeah, it just sucks that we gotta wait. Yeah, this one I didn't do 20. I didn't do it. I didn't do the time trial for it. I had read somewhere though that Konami Castlevania DS collection, like those were actually ports. They weren't emulation. Like they had actually fucked with the code. That like it's not just lazy emulation. I could be wrong. I saw a tweet. It kind of exploded because people were expecting it to be lazy emulation, but they went the extra mile? Question mark. Oh yeah. See the girl Seal saying it.
Ready? Go!
Usually when it comes to these collections, you think there's just emulation. Oh, come on. Alright, so that one I have to do in 20 seconds. So I cannot get stuck on the seesaw. Oh!
Ready? Go!
You still love the girl, but holy fuck, she's evil, trying to hypnosis a dude that he's also been bad? Braga, you rigged your jailing, you're worse than playing detective? I mean, they did deserve to go to jail. But it was kind of overboard. They were objectively gonna hurt her, you guys. We had a little bit of a debate when the episode ended. Oh, okay, there we go, 20 seconds. I like how manipulative she is. Yeah, she's, like, if you just start out watching the show, she doesn't come across as, like, the kind of character that would, you know, turn out the way that she did. Don't worry, surely when part 2 starts, she'll have a redemption arc. But I think it was pretty realistic for how that episode ended. That kind of stuff does happen, like when you're growing up, you know, relationships don't last, yada yada yada, though they weren't really going out. The people just thought they were going out. And then they break it off, and then immediately they find, like, a new relationship. Just like in real life, you guys. Big up Zitch's LZ. I assume they were emulation. First collection is a mix of NES, SNES, GBA, and maybe arcade stuff. DSP played it, but he didn't play every game on that collection, which I thought was bullshit. He didn't even touch the Game Boy games. I mean, when I played Sonic Origins, I played every fucking game on there to completion. Even the shitty Game Gear games, I spent like a week trying to play all of those. Dole is a banana brand. I don't know if they have it in the Netherlands. So I was taking a water sip. I can't be negligent of my water. 28 seconds. Damn it.
Ready?
I did nothing wrong.
Ready? Go!
Well, like, branding like this used to be a lot more common, right? Pikmin 2 on GameCube also had, like, all the treasures were all, like, real-life products. Actually, Chibi Robo on 3DS kind of did the same thing with Candy. Though nobody played that game except for me. Now, Donkey Kong did the Chiquita Banana promotion for Donkey Kong Country Returns. Which, by the way, I didn't forget, it's coming out in January for the Switch. Speaking of re-whatevers, be able to play the 3DS levels in HD at long last. I did play that game on 3DS, not on the Wii, because the Wii version... Yeah, I didn't have a Wii, but the Wii version also made you do this stupid waggle shit with the Wiimote. 3DS version completely removed that. I can only hope the Switch version is the same way. And of course, they're only porting that once again because of the theme park expansion. Hey, Scrumbles. How do you feel since Jursh admits he hates how Spanish sounds? Ay, Dios míos! Was that from the latest Met at the Internet? Oh, wait, no, I think I know what segment you're talking about with the... Oh, I don't know. I don't know if people would like it if I played that segment, the Josh VTuber segment. I don't. You guys might be hating him. You might hate him even more if I played that segment. I don't know. The thing is, the VTubers he was making fun of were those people that related to Nier. They were friends of Nier, the emulator guy who killed himself. But then they were like, oh, I didn't really kill himself. Oh, it was a conspiracy to cover it up. But then it turns out he really did die.
Ready? Go!
So Jerish was talking about that because the two VTubers were getting married, and they did like a registry for their fake digital VTuber wedding. Just kind of like, look, do what you want, I guess. I mean, I'm a VTuber, so I can't really mock it too much. I can't even say, haha, they're dudes pretending to be ladies on the internet, because like I have a female shy lady avatar thing. I guess I'm not pretending to be a lady though. It's more like, for me, it's like, well, I use this so you can know how my body is reacting without me using a face cam. And then you also have some tits to look at. Like, do you want to look at a dude instead? I don't know. And then I don't have like the lore or the backstory or any of that autistic shit. But they do. Like, they actually present as females with lore. And they're like programmers, Linux programmers, and now they're getting married. And they also use voice changers, which I don't use, surprisingly. You would think I do, the way I sound. But no, this is all natural. Yeah, Nier as in View, the BSNES guy, the BSNES guy. So, yeah, the friends that were adamantly defending him, who are now VTubers, are back. And they're getting married. It's very silly. And one of them was named Hector, so that's why Jerish was making fun of the Spanish language. Prime example of don't poke your own thread. Fuck's sake, it was like one page before BU freaked out. Supposedly, drove them to Minecrafting. It wasn't even like they weren't really saying anything awful about him in that thread either. They get a smaller ball. I changed my character to the baby character because he's the quickest character and the easiest to control. So I think he uses a smaller ball because of that. Let me see if anyone would have clipped this. It would have been Alyssa. See, Alyssa didn't clip it yet. Oh, but they did clip this. I think this is Noel's Gumroad content. Let's check this out. I'm interested because this has to do with Comicsgate, which I cared about for an amount of time. This is Noel reviewing Isum #2. This is a comic by Eric July, the person that Dick Masterson and Vito despise for some odd reason. Like, they want Eric July to go out of business because he's a black guy making comic books. And the comic book is kind of mid, but it's not mid to the degree like where I'm tearing my hair out and crying over the existence of a black guy making comic books. So Noel reviewed the first issue and was kind of alright, like he liked it. He didn't really hate it. But apparently this issue he disliked. This is a brand new Gumroad content.
Well, chat, here we are. The follow-up review to Isum.
Yeah, cape
Isum
shit
2
without the woke stuff.
By Eric July. Black comic book man. A guy who... Juju the Cow.
Yeah, again, it's like whatever you think about the end product from Eric July, whether it's mid or mediocre, at least he actually delivers it, unlike that fucking cuck EVS, Ethan Van Sciver.
Dax Herrera hates with every fiber of his being, to the point where he promoted a pedophile's drawing book and even crowdfunded him from his own audience.
That would be Vito. Vito, the guy making... God, I don't even know what the name is. Is it Super Killer? I may be wrong. I think that's the name.
The money to finish this drawing book, which to this day, the pedophile Vito Gesualdi had never finished. He made so much money. I think it was like...
Yeah, and then the script leaked and Josh made fun of it on stream.
Of Juju's audience. That he broke down in tears.
I gotta switch characters for this one.
So happy that he could finally pay somebody to draw naked a girl he had a crush on in college who died. But we're not talking about Juju the Cow. or Vito Gesualdi, the pedophile in his comic book. We were talking about Black Comic Book Man and Isom 2. Here we have it. I actually have 2 copies of this book. I bought one in like preserved packaging for a collection, I suppose, that I have started of comic books, of meme comic books. I actually have all 3 comic books of Rusty Cage, which I haven't read.
At least he's supporting
Butch
Eric
Killian,
July.
which is by Sven Stoffels, and I will make reference now, because when I started talking about Isom, I had literally never read a comic book before, and I just kind of went in dry. And to recap my first review, it's sort of like a crime book, crime story, where, and it's a very grounded story. And there's a guy, he's a rancher in Texas, and his family friend has been sex trafficked. It's a very contemporary, modern story. So he's going to go and investigate where she went and confront the crime boss and get her back. And for whatever reason, and when I say that, it's because Eric July is big into comic books. There's like this superhero subplot where he's a superhero and there's a superhero that's like a bad superhero. It's called like an Accept. And then there's like a world of superheroes. And I said in my first review that this all felt very needless and distracting. You had a very simple story of a man trying to hunt down a family friend against bad odds with an organized crime boss.
Stack it up to gem damage.
There's all this weird
I'm just missing the match
fantasy
3.
stuff that I when I think of superheroes, I think of like Superman and Spider-Man. I don't really think of like sex trafficking. So I thought that was weird. But nothing would have prepared me for Isom 2. This is a bad comic. And I say that having only read 2 comics. Well, I guess 3. It's a comic that has a extreme lack of focus. I want to say...
Yeah, Noel's show is definitely an acquired taste. My comments, whenever I put up a Noel clip, it's always like a minefield. Like, I clip it because, like, no one else does, right? And, of course, he does segments on locales that can be informative. But Noel the person, I totally understand if like, he's not your cup of tea.
Kind of hard to say, but I think it's like 60 pages, and despite its length,
yeah, and then like you have the whole Christian shit.
In this, I'm going to be showing scans, and the scans kind of wash out the colors. The colors in this are just wonderful. I believe that the artists involved have done a wonderful job, with a couple exceptions, but the colors just pop great. It's a beautiful book. But I couldn't wait to be finished with it. Which is, I realize that these are very short.
Hey, Ice Coffee. What's up, man?
So when I'm flipping through this, I'm just like, God, I can't wait to be fucking done reading this. It's a bad sign. It's like, it's short, but I still have ran out of patience for it. And that's because I believe there's 4 subplots happening. Like, the story is told,
want to get onto that third one.
It's very weird. It's not like full Fight Club. It's like, what the fuck is going on? It's just like there's 4 different things happening in 4 different places, and it doesn't have any cohesion whatsoever. You don't understand how A and B tie together. And
you've been working like a dog. Big ups. Suck a dog.
In the first book, he gets into the crime fighting stuff to rescue Jasmine, this girl, and there's specifically one mention of Jasmine throughout the entire fucking book. So this book could very well be the first. It could very well be the first book in the Isom series for all the tie-in that it has with the original. So I'm gonna pull up the scan, and again, I literally have 2 of these. So I just got lazy and I did not want to scan this myself because I don't have a scanner. But I do physically own this book. Okay, so the book opens in like nondescript office building, and my first big issue with this is that you can see
read Lord of the Rings, big ups,
is going into this extremely.
Look at you there, getting all
so she's like a
cultured.
C-level executive in this office building, and she has to do like a biometric scan to get in. So you can see she's in this dark room. She's getting in, she opens, and this is kind of weird. I thought this was a hologram at first. This is supposed to be like her shadow entering the door. And then she's
try reading an easier book.
By,
try The Hungry
Darren
Caterpillar.
Fontano, who is the main bad guy in the first book. But from this angle, you can see that it's not dark, so it's like
Yeah, it
dark
used to be
in
called the
this,
Quickie Forums.
right? But when we look at what she sees when she walks in, she would be able to clearly see that all these goons are at this desk, and you can see the door she just walked in through right here. So how is she
Take a look at this.
possibly ambushed walking in through this door when the bad guys are like right in front of her? And like she should open the door, see these guys, and then just be like, "Oh, fuck this," and then leave. And then also there's this like, I think that this was like, if I was like Juju the Cow and I was trying to make a meme about this comic book, the rhetorical slap would be something that I cut out, and I would ask, like, you know, he loves to do that joke, how many push-ups can he do? I would ask that, and then if they ever answer, I would just hit them with the rhetorical slap, because it's not it's not like a literal answer. I don't know if he did that, but it would be funnier than is usually. So again, my first
Yeah, it looks
big
alright.
gripe right off
I
the
looked at
series,
this
like,
at a
the
glance. I
sequence
could
of events is,
mistake
like,
it for like a Marvel
this woman
thing.
is ambushed in her own office that's apparently very secure by somebody she could have seen. There's like a trick to the eye when she is like, they're pretending that it's like a dark corridor, but she's just immediately ambushed. Then, regardless of the fact that she was ambushed in an office she should have been able to see as she walked through the door, apparently they were wise to the fact that these bad guys,
I won't beat this today,
Darren,
Jesse. I just
had
have
broken into
2
this
more
tech
worlds to go.
office anyways. So we have like an entire fucking Counter-Strike Go counter-terrorist team breaking in, beating the fuck out of the main bad guy already. And it's just like, oh, so the problem's resolved then, right? Like, he's like, I think this is the office building of like the superhero complex that Isom actually belongs to. So it's like, there's the bad guy, you have him, you have his entire crew. So you can negotiate whatever terms for releasing what's her face, right? So there's no problem solved immediately on page 10. It looks like. What's the issue? So we immediately go from the main bad guy being wrapped up to this weird years ago thing. So we've already broken the chronological order of the comic book. We're now years ago. And this is the explanation of how Avery
Wouldn't that just be a flashback
lost
segment?
his mojo as a superhero. So he rushes into this comic book convention, ironically, and helps this girl and her boyfriend or friend or whatever off the ground. And is like, hey, let me escort you out of this convention center that's been torn apart. Then somehow, and again, this is like a common theme in the book that I have a problem with.
Yeah, I wouldn't
with,
advocate
even as
for
somebody who
policing the
doesn't
tracking
read
either.
comic books.
Yes,
This
like you said,
guy
as long as you
has
don't go to his fucking
approached
house, like
Avery,
like Ralph's threatening
out of
to.
nowhere. Like out of nowhere, where is he coming from? How did he?
Well, like
this
that's just
guy is
straight
like
up
an
literal
8
aid
foot
logging,
tall
as the
orc.
definition was intended.
He's like 300 pounds of pure muscle. How do you not hear him? How does he sneak up on you? He's like directly next to Avery, and the people he's trying to save are
Maybe
only
he's
like
just
a
that
few
good at
feet away.
sneaking.
So there's a brief fight, and then the orc randomly says, Umbalor, and then starts super
He meant to
fast
say,
chasing
"Oh, my
after
lord."
the girl in the costume. And I think it's kind of implying that she is dressed up as a superhero that he's actually trying to kill. So he rushes over there, and this is one of the worst parts of the entire comic for me. So if you look at this page, you can see the level of detail given to this character's ass. It is drawn like almost center, like, I mean, the only ass drawn more in detail is Avery's, but hers is right next to his ass, and they're both drawn in detail. So then we go over here, and this is the action sequence that is supposed to have impacted Avery so much that
I don't
he
get that
decided,
toe
"I
walker shit,
can't
man.
do
If I
this.
walked on my
I
toes,
can't
I'd
do
be
this."
fucking hurting.
And if we look at
That
her
your whole
face
life?
and how this is drawn, this is like such a brutal thing. Is like she's pulled down by, this is just like a random girl at like a convention. She's pulled down by her hair, and then this is her face
nice
of
way.
mortal
I guess you gotta be a little autistic toe walker to be watching this shit. I agree. I've heard of people being flat-footed because that comes up, you know, if you go into the army and shit. I've never heard like people just like walking literally on their toes.
hair. And it looks like the kind of face you would draw on like a background character. It's like you see a full colored, well-drawn face for Avery and his reaction to what he understands is about to happen. But like for the they can draw her ass just fine, but when it comes to drawing her face and how she reacts to her own mortal peril, it's like, what, like honestly, it's like, is it like
it's not about
like
Asian
casting
women
shadows to look scary, but it just looks.
I've heard
bad.
of Asian women binding their toes together
And
so
then
that their
he just
their feet appear
smashes her
dainty.
skull, like how
That
you
was
would
like an
crush,
old style
Play-Doh
thing.
between your fingers. It's kind of fucking brutal. There's more pages between
Hey,
that
JC.
and this one where they have no issue drawing like her body, but they do have an issue drawing her face apparently. And I only bring this up because I know that comic books are like kind of etchy in terms of what they show, and that's kind of the point. But I feel like it's a little bit inappropriate to do that with the girl who exists only to have her skull crushed. I don't know if that's feministy or what, but that's how it comes across to me. The next sequence is in like a house with his friend explaining what's happened. So again, we've gone from current time Darren situation years ago back to current time, but now we're in somebody's house where he's kind of talking to a friend about his trauma. Okay, so we walk away from the therapy session. He goes inside this like military complex, and I don't know why.
I don't know why.
But then we have this. This is the exact same
Why?
area as before. He's walking through a door, and then there's an ambush. But we can see that the background has windows. Where, like, look at this. These eyes. I assume that these were bats at first, because it's like, realistically speaking, if this thing has a body, it would occlude the windows. So why the fuck are the eyes just right there? Like, this honestly looks unfinished. Why are the fucking windows there? Or I guess that's not even windows. Those are
Oh, okay.
monitors, 'cause they
Okay, I
turn
see
off
where
at
he's
this
getting
point.
at here.
Why are the monitors there? Is he behind
Like the windows or
monitors?
monitors would expose what the
that's
shadows
they're trying
are.
To say. He's behind the monitors. It just looked wrong, though, is the issue. Okay, I got it. But then this is where,
that does
now they're in
that
front
does
of the
appear to be
monitor.
like a
I guess
visual
that's the way you
goof
can see
at
him,
first
'cause they're in front of the
glance.
monitor. Where the fuck would they stand behind those monitors? The monitors are on the wall, bro. I'm sorry, this is just an error. Like, this is just like a space-time fucking issue. They're flying bats in this scene, and then
I'm excited for
you
the
get to
woke Zelda. I
and
hear
they're
it
like
leaked, so I'm
giant
trying to stay away
monkey
from
men.
spoilers.
And wait a second.
But yeah, I'm excited.
Why do they only have 2 eyes
coming out
when
this
they're
month.
in bats? But then when they're like
Next month, too.
standing there, they have 4 eyes. Dude, I'm telling you, this is unfinished. These two frames right here are just not done. Yeah, that's not
Yeah,
good.
woke Zelda.
Like, and that,
I still
this
gotta
isn't just
go back
me
and play
nitpicking.
Astro
Like, when I
Bot,
was
Silent
flipping
Hill
through it, when I got
2,
to the sequence, I was like, what the fuck is
Mario
happening?
Party.
So the monkey men start a fire, and then there's 4 guys on horseback to discuss what's happening. He got injured, by the way. That's part of the plot. But this is a great example. This right here at the very top is a great example of the lack of organization or structure in the comic. Like, we've just gone from dark office building to convention center, which kind of fit the theme of like modern contemporary time, to like evil demon monkeys in a high-tech lab, kind of like Doom. And then we're outside, and it's like a Wild West in terms of how it looks. And it's very jarring, and it gets even worse as it goes on.
They call that like tonal
introduction for
whiplash.
some guy called Gooding, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy that runs the big base that they're in.
Hey, look,
Okay, and now
I
we jump
use tonal
again.
whiplash when it comes to
Gooding rushes
writing
into the building to
for the
fight
purposes
the
of
fire.
humor style.
Hard cut to the Alpha Core headquarters. I want to stress, I don't think that these guys are ever introduced at any point in the first book, and if they are, it's only in brief. Like, I think they're discussing something, but I have no idea who these fucking people are.
Yeah, it's great how like Nintendo's the only one who's got it together, and all people really want from the Switch 2 is like, okay, keep doing what you're doing, just make the hardware better. Like that's it. There's really no other requests. Like there might be specifics like, okay, make a new F-Zero or make a new Star Fox, but like by and large, it's kind of like, okay, you got it going, just more of that. It's like the fish from SpongeBob. Yeah, that's what we were waiting for.
We're at like another location. This is location number 5. They continue to hype up Yaira, which I think is like another standalone comic that's being done by the ISOM, like the production team. But this is very apropos of nothing. This comes out of nowhere. Yaira is also mentioned she has a very brief appearance in the first one. So it feels like they're really building up this character and how, like as I say, rarely am I ever tested. And when given the opportunity, I gave her the out. She took it, and now we see that she ignored our negotiation. So she's like a big fucking deal, is what they're trying to say. Smash cut back to the ranch. Mr. Gooding has put out the fire. There's also this page, which is like an advertisement for the in-world Gooding services. And it's like, is this a reference to everybody being like pissy about the advertisement for his wife's stuff in the first book? Is this supposed? Because
Oh yeah, that was kind of a thing. That was kind of like a wide critique for the first book. For the advertising sections, he put up adverts for his wife's Facebook Marketplace page.
Someone told me that it's normal for comic books to have advertisements in them. So I guess he was just like, oh, my comic book is a real comic, so I'm going to have an advertisement too. Let me just advertise my wife's stuff. And then it's like, in this comic, he's like, well, we still need to have advertisements, but people didn't like that we're paying, $40 for a comic book, and then it has an ad in it. So let's just do like a fake ad.
Right. That was the contention. So like, okay, comic books have adverts, but like I paid $40 for this one, and I still got to look at ads.
That's my assumption of what this is, because otherwise it's just a little bit bizarre. It's not even like an adequate like chapter separator.
It's but the principle of the thing, dude.
Now where the fuck are we? I guess we're at his house, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, 2,000 fallouts. I wish I could clown out more, but the frag in my throat.
Yeah, I like just hard cut from the ad to this. And I don't know why they felt the need to put a chapter separator here, because there's been all sorts of hard cuts, like 3 of them already, and there was no adequate lean into each other. So it's like, why does Smash cutting to his license plateless truck warrant a Smash cut? So now the timelines are merging again.
Where are the ads? I think it's pretty normal for ads at the end or start of the book. Big up Scoon. If I recall from his first review, the ads for his wife's shit were in the middle of the book, so it interrupts the content of the book. Perfect. And again, just the idea, it was a Kickstarter thing, so you pay $40 for the book, and you get the book, and it still has an ad in it. And most comic books that do have ads aren't like $40.
This lady, who's the lady, by the way, she's the woman who I think even hold up. Okay, I got
middle
the
hell,
original
not that's bullshit. Here. Yeah, it was in the middle.
Okay, there's the Iris stuff. Yeah, wait, hold up. The Projexus headquarters. This is the woman in the first comic book who's telling Avery Isom about the missing friend, and she just captured Darren at her office.
It's
Keep that in
Darren.
mind, this is the woman who started off the sequence of events in the first book about the missing girl, and she just caught Darren in her office. Okay, so then after the sequence, he goes, I'm going to kill him. And it's like, okay, well, good thing that they just caught him, right?
Correct.
He's back at his fucking office. He's back at Club Merc, and he's at his desk. Like, that's not what the fuck. I will remind you how they captured him. Here we go. And it even says Projexus, so I'm not wrong. He broke into the headquarters of the initial event. I'm gonna take a fucking picture of the original comic book and show you. Okay, here you go. Sorry, I know it's like, this is why I'm using a scan, because it's
he had to go break out his first copy of the first issue.
Obviously, that's the same woman. So now it's really confusing. Now that I'm really thinking about it,
at least he proved he bought it.
Woman who Darren's retaliating against. It's the woman, the first person who knew that Jasmine was missing, that sent Avery after to get her. And then Darren goes to her
Thank you, Gondola,
headquarters in
for the
this
video
extremely
review.
secure facility that's so on
Hello,
top of its game
Gondola.
that they knew that he was coming specifically, and they even say in the book, in the second one, that the founder of Progenexus was aware that he was coming, and he knew and allowed the situation to unfold to capture him. But then when he is captured, and when the chief technology officer knows that he is the guy that has Jasmine, who she is the friend with, they just let him go. They don't call the police. They don't kill him. They don't allow Avery to come up and let him go. And I'm reading through this on the second time, but I'm going to extra pay attention to the dialogue to see if there's any fucking reason for why they're doing this. So I really hate this frame. So he just got captured, right? And he's complaining to his goons, who are also all free, about how their plan got foiled, even though there are no consequences for their plan foiling. He says, so I pay all of you this money and you have the nerve to withhold information? Get out of this contract, or get out. This contract is done in luck, and good luck finding any work that's remotely comparable. And then this other black guy says, you don't think that's a bit of an overreaction, boss? And he says, shut up before I fire you too. And he's telling his except, so the guy that Avery beat up in the first book, to get out. What I really hate about this is that in a story, regardless of what kind of a story it is, you need a real competent threat in order to drive the story. Like,
Yeah, you can't be having no
compare this to real
clowns.
life, like Liz Fong Jones is such a contemptible villain in the story of the Kiwi Farms because he's so competent, because he's so interconnected, and because he poses a real genuine threat to the forum and to everybody involved in it, and anyone who knows me. So it's like, it's real easy to talk about how fucking evil he is, because he is evil. Comparatively, Darren seems like a fucking buffoon. He flies off the handle, he fires people he needs, he gets caught, somehow he gets out, but at that point it's like he's less of a villain and more of like a Warner Brothers cartoon villain, like Tom and Jerry. He's like, he gets skinned alive and somehow is okay, and it's like slapstick. Like,
Are there
how
really
can you
villains
take
in
this guy
Tom and Jerry? I guess
seriously?
Tom,
And then
but
it-
he's
it
like, we're
almost
supposed to
feels like the book
sympathize
is
with Tom.
ashamed of having a normal guy as like a villain, because
I
they
guess the
very
dog.
quickly move on to some other kind of threat towards the end of the book. But before they move on, though, he says to this lady, hey, make sure Jasmine makes it back to my office ASAP, and his face is all shaded. So this is implying that he's going to like rape her or hurt her or something, because she is forced to be like a prostitute in his Club Merc. And it's like, how the fuck is this allowed to happen? This, by the way,
But like as antagonists, she never killed Tom. She was like, Thomas, I will ground you from eating from the fridge if you don't catch that mouse.
is the only mention of Jasmine. It didn't even occur to either of them that he's still like a threat to this person that he apparently is after to try and save. And now this I don't
I remember her
understand.
spanking
So we
him
got from that, the
sometimes.
office to the
But she ain't
Overtonic
evil.
Arena, and there's like a
Shit, if anything, she's like the only competent
superhero
character in that
rodeo
show.
or something, and I have no idea what the fuck this is. What is this? Why is this in the book? What is this? This is the part of the game, or not the game, but the book where I'm like flipping through it, like, what the fuck am I reading? And I'm getting impatient with it because I'm like, I'm now in another location I don't recognize with more characters I don't know.
Because you're not a wrestling fan.
What the fuck this is? Is this like a WWE
This is a weird
thing? There's like
page,
a
though.
squared circle thing happen. I'm fucking lost. Why is this in? And that whole sequence just terminates with this guy shutting off a TV, so it doesn't really seem to have any impact in the immediate story.
Maybe it'll come out later.
So long
come
story
up
short,
later.
that guy goes through a magic
Like it's
portal,
foreshadowing.
hooks up with an evil boss lady, gets this car, and then gets into a drive-by shooting with these other goons. Now they're driving down the road really fast based on the lines that I'm seeing. Kind of implies some speed. And the guy says the boss sends his regards, and then they start shooting at him. Now I'd like to reenact this in real life. The boss sends his regards. So some more shit I don't understand happens. This
I'm sorry,
guy
that was
we're following, I
very-
don't know if I'm supposed to recognize him.
was very
Like,
realistic.
There's so many fucking
Very
characters in
amusing.
this book, I can't keep track. There's like a fight over the steering wheel. He crashes out of his fucking window, and then it cuts again. And there's no like badge right there. Like, oh, we're now at this location. Like, where the fuck are we? How did we
No
cut from page
Lexus-centric
59,
cards.
this car crash, to page 60, wherever the fuck this is? Is this like
He's very good at it.
Like, is the guy from the car crash about to fling down this fucking stairwell? Like, what is? I don't understand what's going on, bro. I'm trying my best. So then, like, a Gooden person comes up and says,
where's
"Hey,
your
let's
media
go." So they
literacy,
hook
bro?
up with this robot, and the robot's like a jet, and you have to like stand in these little troughs. I remember watching this the first time, and thinking like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, I get that Avery has to be cool, but like this thing is like shooting like rocket fuel out of its feet, and you're like experiencing multiple G forces, and you're just gonna like sit there and like hug his shoulder real cool. I don't know. I would be afraid of. I have a bad fear of unsecured heights, so I would be like hugging this fucking robot like it was the love of my life at this point.
So he's okay
so
with
now
the
he's
heights if they're
explaining the
secured.
fire monkeys to this lady. He says, "All right,
I guess that's
forgive
fair.
me for
I won't
repeating
hate-
myself, but I
That's-
think
that's
it's
me
only
being a
right
hater.
that we
That
let-
makes sense, I
let
guess.
Mrs. Williard in on what happened today. When I arrived at the security house, the door was open. I walked in and Sam was nowhere to be found. I was ambushed by two beasts."
Yeah, whenever he posts, there's like this posse of people, like users. You'll see it in the DSP board when he posts there. You'll see people who don't otherwise post in a DSP board post whenever he posts. It's like I don't like. It's like an entourage. I don't think he asks for it. He doesn't request it, but because it just comes with being the administrator, people just follow him wherever he posts. Like an unintended, unrequested entourage of users to just defend your every move, everything you say, just because you're the administrator. You can never be wrong.
And they set the building on fire. She goes, "What?" And then literally fucking collapses because I guess her husband.
And they get called
said-
out
I
for
don't
it
know who
too,
her
but it's not like you're
husband
really
is,
breaking a
though.
rule.
I apologize. By the way, I thought this was a 64.
So you can't really get rid of those people.
15 fucking pages. You like it gets fucking weirder. Like we're only halfway through, and at the end, it's just absolute nonsense.
Maybe it could
So
be
the
that. Like if I
Genesis
suck his
man
cock enough, I'll
explains
be a
that the monkeys
Janny.
are, like,
I don't know if
genetic
like
freak mutant dangers
mod
or
ship has
something.
ever
So he
worked
puts
like
on
that
the
on the
Ice
forum
and
though. I don't think
costume, 'cause
I don't think
now
that's how it works.
He has to be a superhero again. Now he didn't have to be a superhero to find Jasmine. So he couldn't.
It makes
find
sense when you lay it out like that. Like,
at a
oh, if I
club
suck
where
him
he was
off enough,
aware
he'll
she
let
was
me
at.
have some
But
form
now
of
that the
authority or
giant
control.
Flaming monkeys are running around
But
Texas.
I don't think there's a
He's
precedent
like,
for
oh,
that.
Hell no, I ain't standing for no flaming monkeys. You think I want to have some flaming monkeys running around? Fuck that, bish. So now he's a superhero. Like, okay, I got you. A personal aside, the obvious Photoshop Arial font fucking signs in this.
I knock.
This one and this one. This really bothers me. I don't know why.
Listening to
It's like
a
they
Null
wouldn't
review a
change
comic.
it at the last second
Comic
and
by
just
Black
slapped
Comic
on,
Book
like,
Guy.
completely unintegrated fonts into this feels unfinished as well. You have the fucking truck a license plate. Also, I don't want to complain too much about like art shit because a lot of the art is fine, and like I said, in the actual physical book, the colors really pop. The scan does not do it justice. But this in particular, I swear this fucking truck is like a 3D model. And I don't really care. I know that like the 3D model shit is like a big meme with like the retards like Juju the Cow and the pedophile. But the truck is really like standoutish to me. In part because these little hairlines, you see these like hairs like right here and right here.
He brings up the model stuff because one of the reasons Dick Masterson and Vito, the PDF file, pretend to dislike Black Comic Book Guy's comic books so much is because he uses 3D models. He traces over 3D models for like cars or buildings. So it's like, oh, you're not really drawing it. You're just tracing over assets. But it's like it's such a nothing kind of critique, and who cares? And he's not the only person in the comic industry to have ever done that. Manga people do that too.
And right here, it's like they had the model.
I would not have even considered that the truck was traced if you didn't tell me, because it's such a who fucking cares?
To try and give it a comic booky look, and it's just those little scribbles are just so obvious to me. Like that's That's not drawn. A human being would never draw these little, like, because they look like pubes caught in the scanner or something. They look bad. It's like a human would not draw that detail. They just wouldn't. So that really stands out to me. And I'll give you a comparison of what it looks like to me. Okay, so this is the trailer for Dustborn. And there's a sequence where they put a filter on all the models to try and give it this like 2D like asteroids look, and it looks really
Seru
fucking
loves
bad.
this game.
See it? You see how like cheap and shitty that filter is? Because they're just trying to very cheaply change it so that the 3D models are outlined in such a way, and it just looks like really lackluster, the effect.
Reminds me of the lazy filters they would use for Crash 4's bonus levels.
The pube thing. It's just like, this is just like a cheap shader. Like, you can do this in Unity for like no time at all. Okay, and this is where the shit really fucking falls apart for me. So he just put on his super suit, and he goes to this nondescript castle. As it says, a castle smack dab in the middle of Texas. So imagine medieval fucking castle. Let me show it to you. Medieval fucking castle, middle of Texas, surrounded by a fucking moat.
It's a big mansion, come on.
Desert.
Like the one Ali Jamal lives in.
Goodings, it makes sense. This is the type of real estate you think is a helpful person would prefer. This line of work, you either suspend your sensibilities or someone or something will do it for you. Just don't expect. Don't just expect the unexpected. You embrace the ignorance and learn to understand. I'm not seeing.
Yeah, I don't know the ins and outs of the business. I'm sure you'll have to sell a lot of comics to kind of make back what you put into it.
And then there is a fucking
like most industries.
Okay, this is the third fucking time.
And again, to like go back to as to why it's such a nonsense critique for Dick Masterson to make. Like filmmaking has a lot of shortcuts too, right? It's not. Like, shortcuts aren't exclusive to the comic book industry, surely.
The fourth time, actually, because it happens twice. There are two growling wolves, so that somehow he's on a fucking suspension bridge in the middle of the fucking desert, in the middle of Texas.
It's all a matter of presentation and like almost like fake it till you make it. As long as it's presentable and it looks good. Like, if you can't tell the difference, because again, like I feel like if I was reading this, if you didn't tell me that was a model, like I wouldn't know, and if I did know, I wouldn't care. If it looked really bad, like offensively bad, then I would notice, and then I'd be like affected by it. Like, oh god, that looks like shit. Like that you fucking printed that.
Surrounded by crocodiles, and despite the situation
games do that too with games that reuse assets.
You know, his alertness should be. Fucking
Nintendo does it all the time.
Sneak up on him on the suspension bridge. There's only one way to approach him, and there's no way he wouldn't hear like claws on the bridge. And then a fucking dragon out of nowhere. He's in the middle of the fucking desert. He can see 1,000,000 miles in every direction because it's fucking desert. And a dragon out of nowhere in the middle of the night also catches him by surprise. This is a genuine storytelling problem. Eric July does not have the ability to progress the plot and storyboard surprises in a way that makes sense. It doesn't make sense when it's the girl in the
it's like a Goosebumps cliffhanger before you get to the next chapter.
It doesn't make sense when it's the monkeys in the computer room. It doesn't make sense
and then
when
a giant dragon appeared
into her office, and it doesn't make sense with the fucking dragon. Like it just I can't suspend my disbelief. It doesn't make any sense. The situations where he is or other people are taken by surprise exist only to further the plot in a specific series of events. And
I agree with JPM. It is a bit too much gray. There needs to be the shading is kind of weird.
I would be able to enjoy it a little bit more, but like with this, it's just like the thing happens, she's taken by surprise, and then it's resolved on page 10, and it starts on page what 6. So in 4 pages, this plot is taken care of, and it's just that is really lazy. So then the animals, the wild fucking animals, attack him, and he's fighting gators and wolves.
Gator?
And someone says, "Stand down." And it is this black hoe, Sydney Bloodroot. And when I'm looking at this, I'm thinking, what the fuck? The very first thing that jumps to my mind is the Grave Robber from Darkest Dungeon. It's like he took this character.
I know of
and
that
I'm
game.
assuming
I've
that
never
she's
played
based
it.
off like a trope, like the big pilgrim hat and stuff. But it just looks so much like her. And it's like, yeah, that, but black and show some tummy. You know what I mean? It just feels like. And again, this is the same book with the
That character design kind of screams to me as like we gotta have like that hyper, you know, we gotta bring back the sexy as like a response to the woke shit. So it's like, you know, he's an anti Eric July is like the anti woke kind of anti SJW. That's why he's in Comicsgate. So we gotta have like sexy female characters. Now I'm not saying like that's an issue or it's like a problem. I'm just pointing that out. It's like that's why the character is sexualized. I think to me, I was like, oh. We need to bring back those characters. I guess if they're a good character, I don't mind.
Police and the gangsta and the woman getting her skull crushed, and then we're like Sydney Bloodruth, the grave robber from Darkest Dungeon, but black, and she has a dragon. Like, does she do like the Skyrim yells too? Is she gonna go Fusrada at any point? Like, what the fuck?
And then she took an arrow to the knee.
There's even like a library in this where she's like studying spells, and I'm just thinking like, what the fuck? And I honestly can't even be bothered to read all this text. Like, whatever the fuck is happening at this point, I'm not invested in it. And I kind of want to compare this to the other comic that I mentioned. So this is Butch Killigan Volume 1 by Sven Stoffels. And Sven is both the writer, storyboarder, and artist responsible for the comic. And I love the art in this. I really love Sven Stoffels' style. The way that he draws is awesome. I've commissioned animations from him. He is a very talented artist, and he obviously has an
Some
interest
mangas
in
are
comics.
monthly or bi-weekly,
And
but I see
this,
what you're saying.
book is the exact same length as Isom 2. It's 118 pages. But I remember this being much, much shorter. And it's because there's almost no narrative to it, and Sven is able to really take full use.
I didn't talk about that. The Palworld suit, they are suing Palworld. Now, there's really not much to say at this time. It's not for the Pokemon designs, the fake Pokemon designs. It's nothing to do with the designs of the monsters. It's more to do with patent infringement. I was talking about it a little bit with Goon, but there's not enough to say if the suit has any weight. They did say they were aware of Palworld's existence when the game came out. So presumably the past 8 months has been them doing research to see if they actually have a case rather than just spurging out at the game's existence. They were just keeping quiet and keeping their cards close, and presumably they think they have a strong case, so that's why they put the suit forward. But you got to consider Japanese court as Japanese law, completely different from US law. So they may actually have some a legal leg to stand on. And it's not to do with the monster designs, it's to do with patent infringement, so stuff related to the gameplay. Now the gameplay, the patents that the Pokemon Company has are publicly available. So the assumption is that one of those patents was infringed upon. But at this time, we don't know much more than that.
Now, you could say, you know, it's about the letter of the law and the spirit of the law. Like, okay, Nintendo, your suit is valid, but you're like suing an indie developer. It's kind of like fucking bullshit, right? You wouldn't do that even if you were 100% in the right, correct?
Why invent a new game where you can just sue someone? Japan's fucked up. You can get sued for leaving a bad restaurant review. I didn't know that. Another good game a company has to be mad at yet. Yeah. We'll see what the suit turns out to be. People tried to say the game was developed with AI. That got thoroughly debunked. People could say the designs are... Because, like, fair use doesn't exist in Japan. Some of the designs veer too close to actual Pokemon designs. But I guess it's a question of whether they actually used assets from the actual Pokemon games. I think you'd have a stronger case there. But again, the actual suit has nothing to do with the monster design. So apparently, after doing their 8 months of research, they think they have a strong enough case to pursue something without even talking about the monster designs, which was what all the initial hubbub was about in the first place. Yeah, lawsuits in Japan, I don't know about Japanese. Yeah, it could be just like some complete do hickory bullshit over there that lets them that gives them the W. I don't know. Pokemon wasn't the first to do monster catching. That's right. So it'd be curious. I'd be curious to see like what they think got infringed, because they're not the first monster catching game. It could be the Pokeballs, because they do have a patent on Pokeballs and the concept of Pokeballs. So even other monster catching games don't have Pokeballs. But then you have Power World, which has the Power Balls. That's what I kind of want to jump to, looking at the patents that they got. So you can have your monster catching, but don't have them get captured by spherical devices. And I don't know, to go back to the designs of the monsters, Pokemon, you know, obviously took some inspiration from Dragon Quest. Now, I don't think it was to that level of Power World, because I've seen some infographics where it's like, Pokemon wasn't the first to make like an anime-looking bat. Here's the bat from Dragon Quest versus the bat from Zubat. Well, I look at it as they're both cartoony depictions of a real-life animal. Dragon Quest's bat and Pokemon's Zubat. And then you look at Power World. A hypothetical Power World version would just be a mishmash of the Pokemon and Dragon Quest bat designs to make a PAL, if that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't... Like, there'd be less creativity gone into it. Like, you can look at the PALs and it's like... You can clearly tell they were inspired by X Pokemon. Now, I'm not going to say, oh, you stole the design, you stole literally the assets, but I can look at that and say, oh, that's like supposed to be evoking the image of a Gardevoir. Oh, that's supposed to be a Primarina. That's Primarina's hair there. Now, I don't have enough technical know-how to say, like, oh, they actually stole the asset itself. But I know enough to look at it and say, oh, yeah, that's supposed to be the Eevee equivalent. Yeah, put your monsters in dice like Yu-Gi-Oh! Exactly. Yeah, they're gonna say we own balls. Like, I mean, they got the patent for it, they would literally own balls.
To the medium, and like
those are my thoughts on the Power World situation.
Crazy visuals.
I forgot to bring it up. Thank you. I just I don't know enough about it. We don't know enough about the suits.
Like fancy
with the information we got, pretty much don't got nothing.
And
you gotta wait till it actually goes to court.
Like the fucking fear and dread and like craziness of the story, and Sven is able to do that because he has a perfect mental conception of what he's trying to accomplish.
I mean, look, if it helped promotes Power World, like if people play Power World out of spite and check it out to like put the middle finger to Nintendo, that's a good thing, right? I guess if they lose a lawsuit, that could help with revenue, help them pay Nintendo back. But also, like, it is free promotion for the game, because like a lot of people, and coming at a good time too, because people were forgetting about Power. Like, it was kind of like it came and went. This could bring people back to the game.
As Eric July has like his plot points, and then he has to go through other people, and you know that's a limitation. But I don't think it's
we'll see.
Fault.
Yeah. I would think.
It's just that Sven has.
If you say, hey, we're aware of it, and you just go quiet for 8 months, surely like that would suggest to me that they at least feel confident themselves that they have something. Like they kept their cards close. They didn't whine about it. They just said, hey, yeah, we're aware of it, and they didn't say anything else. And 8 months later, here they come. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yeah, we got that. I think we got something here. So it kind of exudes like the confidence to me. But again, it's just my supposition, my presumption. We'll see how it turns out.
A very clear visual way that he wants to convey certain things. And compared to this, and it's like the art in this, let me pull out the book again, because the art on this scan just looks really bad for this page. Yeah, I'm wondering, because it's like so dirty looking. I get they're trying to make it look like, oh, this is like a dusty old book where it's a super secret library and all sorts of stuff. I'm curious if it's that fucking bad in the book. It is actually. It's not so washed. The colors are much better, but it's still just like it's like 8 panels, and they're just in a library talking about monkeys, and I
Monkeys?
don't get it. She's just trying to take him to the monkey cave. So they fly to the monkey cave, and he's just like holding on to this poor dragon's foot, like he super jumps up and like grabs its foot. And
That's
I'm just
animal
like,
abuse, bro.
what? Okay, so after
Mythical animal abuse.
pulling out that dragon's ankle, he just like airdrops in like he's.
Where we
just
dropping,
jumped
brother?
off the Fortnite battle bus. Remember, he had issues fighting two of these things in that office building, but then he found, and look, you can see the monkey up here is like, it looks like Sasquatch in that one photo where he's just like from far away.
This is kind of silly. I'm
So
not
he
gonna
just,
front.
Like, drops off the battle bus into the cave of evil monkeys and just starts like whooping them. This is actually, the art at this point is really nice, and I don't want to undersell this. The use of red and stuff, I loved it. I loved how the drawing and the colors were, but I don't know what the fuck is happening is the issue. The plot of Item 1 is to find Jasmine. The main bad guy is rounded up immediately and then let go for no reason. And then he's just suddenly out for vengeance for this woman's husband that died in the monkey attack. So then he's in the monkey cave and she's using like blood magic, which is also fucking weird. I mean, kind of cool, I guess, but what the what does that have to do with science monkeys? So he's just having a big monkey attack going on. He's like clobbering monkeys. Ah, no, die monkeys. Like, seriously, look at this. It's really, really cool in the comic book.
Yeah, I like the use of red here.
It's the exact same thing with like Darren. Okay, you're building
the
up
actual
Darren
book
as this
looks even
villain,
better.
But then Darren's caught and nothing happens, and then like, okay, the monkeys are attacking Gooding and killing people. Okay, well, let's just find an old book in a castle somewhere, and then we're gonna fly right on over to Monkey Town. We're gonna land some fucking critical hits on the monkeys. Like,
Thank you, Aqua, the 25 stream streak. He is reviewing Eric July, mid Black Comic Book Guys, mid Black Comic, for like a Gumroad goal, and it got uploaded. So I'm taking a look at it. I saw the first review he did for the first issue, so I'm obligated to watch him review the whole thing.
so then they're fighting together, and they're like, oh my god, we're both like crazy people. That's awesome. And then he says, I assumed you would stay at range. But then she explains that she's the grave robber, and she has a utility set that allows her to be effective at positions 1, 2, 3, and 4. So then they wander deeper into Monkey Cave, and there are lots of monkeys. And she goes, unreal. That is so many monkeys. And then Avery's
Why aren't
just
the
like,
monkeys
you know
in
what?
balls though?
I'm not done killing monkeys. So they go into the monkey pit and just start like killing all the monkeys. There's 1, 2, 3 pages of monkey murder, and then she like channels all her blood magic and goes.
They were trying to appeal to those weird YouTube channels that like to torture monkeys.
There. She's blowing up like a door. Yeah, it's like a sci-fi door in the monkey cave. Oh my god, they found them. All the dead people, and then this guy as well. Sam, he did it. Through use of his superpowers, he was able to bring the gravedigger or the grave robber into the monkey pit and then save the bad people. He's still out there
speaking of
beating up
monkeys,
monkeys, though.
thank
He
you
had
for
issues
the
with
We Love
two,
Palette.
and now he's got the suit on, so he's okay. And she can like create, you know how like in Frozen there's that scene where Elsa makes
No, I've
like
not watched
freezy
Frozen.
sticks that she walks on? The grave robber can kind of do that with blood. That's kind of cool, I guess. Yep, still killing monkeys. Now the dragon's killing monkeys. Then Avery goes, and he goes flying away from the monkeys. Boom! I hope you have enjoyed Item 2. Eric,
That's how it ends?
I did not. The
It's
plot
kind of
is
abrupt.
completely nonsensical. There's so much going on, but so little at the same time. There was a lack of visual storytelling. I thought that the lack of characterization to the girl that was murdered was a bit fucking tasteless. And honestly, after reading it twice now, I don't know what the fuck is happening. And there's nothing to like make me think, oh, I want to read.
No, man, that
Item
keep shit is
3.
keep
And I did
shit.
genuinely at the end of Item 1, I said, oh,
He did
you know,
say with
I
the
like
first
this kinda
Isom,
down-to-earth-
I don't know if he said it again here, I forgot already, but he did say with Isom, the first issue, that it was like the first comic book he ever read.
plot about the missing girl. I'm kind of curious what happens. Does he find her? And now I'm in Isom 2, and I have no fucking.
Yeah, I'm not in the
I
cape
have
shit
no-
either,
I have
so
no clue what's going on.
I can't
I don't
speak.
know how Jasmine ties into anything. Apparently, the characters themselves have forgotten that Jasmine is like a thing. So if they don't care, why do I? Why do I care? How could I possibly want to read Isom 3 after this? Because it's like, it kind of feels like what happened with this is Eric July got access to the candy jar. He got a bunch. I'm not saying that he got high on cocaine. I'm saying he got a bunch of money. He had financial success because he tapped into a market that was desperate for someone who gave a fuck about what they wanted.
Right,
And he
the
had all these
Comicsgate
financial
people.
resources and all this access to these wonderful artists. And then he, as a writer, is just kind of looking at this like, well, I need a story that has XYZ because these are my favorite things in comics. I like gritty crime that is interesting to black guys.
You see, I got that impression a little bit because you got like the bombshell female character. It's like, again, like the fantasy wish list of like, oh my god, all this cool shit would be so awesome if I had it all together in one.
And I like super cool Elon Musk type people like Iron Man, and I like black witches, and I like demons. And it's like he just kind of mashes together, and there's zero restraint. It doesn't feel like there's anybody at his office talking to him and going like, hey, you need to like let this play out a bit. You have all these ideas, and there's nothing wrong with being an idea guy if you can sell it, but you need to show restraint, and you need to pace things out, and you need to flesh out things so that when big action sequences that you're paying the best artists in the industry to color brilliantly and draw beautifully, when that happens, there's like an emotional payoff to it, and people understand
like
what's
it feels
going on.
worthwhile
Like I
to
understood
have
what's
gotten to
going
that
on
point.
in Butch Killigan. That when this sequence happens, it's like I understand what's happening, and it's very rewarding to see the illustrations, and they're super creative. You know what I mean? So like reading through Isom is just Isom 2 is just a chore. It's so long, and there's so much exposition, and none of it is like developing anything that I'm interested in.
Pickups on the video
Even
redeem
the cool
seal.
visual payoff at the very end. It's,
We'll do,
that shit
we
was
gotta do
nothing.
gauntlets
Like, where
first.
The fucking monkey. Where is he? Why is he in the castle killing monkeys? I don't get it. I guess because they fucked with Gooding. But who the fuck is Gooding? Why do I care about his employees? Maybe he's an asshole. Maybe he's like a rapist or a pedophile or something. I don't fucking know anything about him. Why do I care? I know who Jasmine is, okay? And I know who the family friend is. And I get that he's like a superhero. It's like, okay, prove it. Finish. Okay, bro, you got like a quest list on the top right of your HUD that has like 8 different things in it right now, and the first one is the beginner tutorial quest, find fucking Jasmine, and you still haven't done it. And he's apparently the most incompetent buffoon fucking guy ever. You can clear out an entire dungeon full of fire monkeys, but you can't go kill the one monkey who's in this club firing his entire like crew. No, that guy's too competent and cool and slick and hard to deal with. And
All right, it's about Star Citizen.
Whatever.
Yeah, we
man.
can take a look at that.
It was a very, very frustrating read, and I sat down with the comic in my fucking hands, and I got all comfy for it, and I got a drink and a coffee, and I sat down and I read it just like it should be read. And I wanted to like it because I don't want to say things that Juju the cow and Vito the pedo are going to clap.
You don't want to give Dick Masterson a win?
Okay, it does not bring me joy to show
I
him
can't
something
give the
that somebody
detractors
worked
a
very
win.
hard on and that a bunch of
No.
people had invested themselves into. So I don't know if there's an Isom 3, but if this review is interesting to people, I'll fucking buy it and review it. I guess I don't know though. It's just bad, and I can see even from like a non-comic book mind, like it is an issue with Eric July because the illustrations and stuff were fine. I was a little bit insulted by the 3D model of the truck because it felt really lazy. Like if you're going to use a model, at least go in by hand and add the details and the dirt and stuff yourself, so it's not just a fucking lazy shader like a fucking video game. Aside from that, it's like you have everything you could possibly want except the restraint to dole things out slower, more methodically, and that's the thing that you can't make up in a story. Like everything, every piece of medium is supposed to try and convey an emotional state to the audience. And you can't do that if you have a meandering and narratively unsatisfying and very unfocused story by an amateur author and writer. You need people who know how to hit those beats and convey things in a way to draw in the audience and keep them invested. And I wasn't.
Usually when it comes to Marvel and DC, don't they have like you have the artist and then you have the writer that's doing the actual story? Like those are separate positions. So I think he said, I think Eric July is both the artist and the writer here. And not every artist can necessarily write a good story. But when it comes to this anti-SJW like Comicsgate shit, you kind of like you don't really have the personnel at hand to so where you can have like your own personal writer to actually write the story for you.
I was invested up until I think after the flashback. After the flashback where he just leaves he literally walks out of his therapist's office on a military base into a fire monkey confrontation. I'm like, bro, I don't know what the fuck's happening. I'm sorry, I'm clocked out. And the second read really didn't help any at all. So that's my ISOM review. Sorry, I'm not more of a positive poly. I really wanted to be, but it is what it is. Thank you for your support on the Gumroad. I appreciate it, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Okay, all things considered, I think that was a pretty fair review. Like, there were no biases in there. When he would have been inclined for the sake of drama and for the sake of his show to, like, pretend to like it, to make Dick Masterson mad, because Dick Masterson really doesn't like Eric July. But, yeah, he could have went that route. No, he spoke truth to it. It's like it's just mid black guys, mid black comic book. Just exactly how I introduced it. It's okay. It's inoffensive, I suppose. If you like people slaughtering monkeys, this is the comic book for you. Okay, I actually see that Seal's video is shorter than Gondola's, so ixnay what I just said. We will watch Seal's video first. It's only 13 minutes. Thor Pirate Software's view on Star Citizen's exploitative consumer practices. I have not fallen for the Star Citizen scam. Probably because the MSI would explode if I ever tried to run it.
That's nuts. So we were talking the other day about
Star
Citizen, and people wanted to know my take on Star Citizen, and I don't like it, and the reason why is because of this.
The take is no, sir, I don't like it.
Because the game feels more like a storefront than a game. But I didn't know something about this.
Could have something to do with the game not even being finished yet.
Citizen? And it's okay. Don't worry. I'm not going to berate you. You can spend your money whatever way you want. Because someone has sent me an image, and I'd like to know if we can verify that this exists. You have? Do you have access to another page in the store that no one else has access to? Because I was sent this that shows another page on the store that has up to $15,000 in packages on that. So they have a... Yes, the answer is yes, you do have access to that.
So we're milking the whales even more?
That they try to give to people that have already given $1,000. So there's a store within a store. It's a whale page, yes. This is why I won't be playing Star Citizen. It is not because the game doesn't have promise, because it does. It's because of this. This is gross, dude. It's gross to me. It's not about greed. It's gross.
But the greed is massively strong, though.
This is predatory, and it's something that I don't want to see in our industry, so it makes me not want to engage. There's a page that...
Isn't he the furry that hates on the Stop Killing Games movement? Oh shit, I wouldn't know. I do know the Stop Killing Games movement, though. That kinda... Is that still going on? That's still a thing? Yes, we have to save the crew, too, from going offline forever.
Doesn't unlock until you spend 10K? And anybody who's... Please don't tell me you've done that. Don't tell me there's a 10K page. Jesus Christ, dude. That's so rough. That's so rough. Is the 10K page on Google?
I could understand if you're like, okay, if you bought like the Founders Pack, you get like extra shit and whatnot. That's understandable. But this comes across nefarious because it's obviously, you know... as the game's notoriety expands, it may be more difficult to get new people suckered into buying the game because maybe they saw a video just like this. So because of the rising fear of the difficulty of getting new players to kind of open the Velcro wallet, you decide to rely on your base, people who have already spent money on the game. If you've already spent money on the game, it's a high likelihood that you're going to continue spending money on the game, so, you know, be a returning customer. So I could see the incentive to add like features like this to get them to spend even more. So like a secret store, as it were.
Well, I don't know. The idea of a VIP store really bothers me, though. This really, really bothers me.
I agree, it is scummy.
I can't verify this is real.
I understand it. It's still scummy.
To find out, right? But if some of you out there have paid $1,000 and you do see this page, and you can send me more proof of this, that really bothers the shit out of me. That really bothers the shit out of me. That's 100% real. I'll deem it to you, Thor. Kronos, you've got it. Have reviewed and provided feedback. Thank you. It looks like it's up on IGN as well. Star Citizen introducing a $48,000 ship bundle, but only players who have already spent $10,000. Dude, I can't get behind this. I can't.
That's crazy.
Like, I cannot do
only
this.
if you've already
Developer
spent
Cloud Imperium Games is releasing a
$10K?
ship bundle for its controversial space simulator that costs an eye-watering $48,000. Star Citizen's Chairman's Club, one which requires spending at least $10,000 on other in-game items to achieve. Jesus Christ, dude. This is why I said it feels more like a storefront than it does a game. It's not good. That is not good. Like, Jesus, dude. This is so far down the route of anti-video game to me that I know that there are some of you that may love this game, that may love it for what it could be.
What do you
but
even
as a
do
game
in it? You
developer,
just, like,
that shit is
simulate
awful to
running
me.
a spaceship?
That is really, really awful to me. And I cannot possibly get behind that, dude. I just can't. As a player and as a dev, I look at that and
What
I
is
just go,
the
no,
gameplay?
I don't want that to be a thing. I don't want that to be a thing at all.
Okay, like, you spend like $40,000 in this game, right? Like, so you got, it's like you have a gaming PC, correct? You get all the peripherals together, you get all the accessories, all this. Like, your setup is good to go. Your PC is built. What do you play on it? And that's kind of what I'm thinking about with this. Okay, you spend all this money, you have all the ships, you have all the accessories for the ship, you're in the Founders Club, you're in the $10,000 Spenders Club, you have everything all decked out. You can actually start playing the game. What is the gameplay? And how can this be worth it? It's convoluted dingus. They have some working things, but nothing at all. It all merges together. Yeah, it kind of, I know of the game. And I haven't looked into it, so it's like, oh, I'm watching videos about it. Okay, I know about what a disaster it is. I know it is a disaster. It's like, I know more about it being a failure and for the controversy than the game itself. Like, what is the fucking game? It kind of is like, I buy spaceships and I get to look at them. Thank you for the scrumbles for the redeem.
Tools list of ship packages. So you can actually pull it from starcitizen.tools. Let's go look. Oh my shit. Oh my shit. How far does this go? It's not even the top one? Does it keep going? Yeah, dude, I can't do that. This is stupid. There's a level of stupid that's in this that's starting to get
Menu in a sandwich shop.
What ends up happening in terms of player behavior at this point is you start getting this idea where somebody will buy into this and then they rapidly have to defend not the game, but the idea of their purchase being valuable. And they'll have to defend
fallacy,
that against
yeah.
other people that don't agree, and it becomes an emotional fight over, I spent all this money, so I feel emotionally invested in this. And that's the thing that's
Right,
wrong,
because you don't
We're so
want
wrong about
you
this.
don't want to
What
be
about this
told
am I
that your
wrong about?
purchase
What
was
is it that I'm wrong
worthless.
about? Like, tell me.
You don't want to be told
because
that you got scammed.
This bothers me. This preys on a person in a way that I think
gonna
is very
incline you to
bad
defend the
for our
game.
industry. I think it is very bad for our industry. I don't think it's stupid, but I think it preys on people in a way where they get emotionally invested in a cost, and then they have to defend that in a way that ends up causing strife for them, right? That's not a good thing. It's fine to have microtransactions. I don't think it's fine to have a microtransaction
I don't
that's
think it's
basically
fine.
a down payment on a house. I just don't think it is. I think that goes into the world of egregious, frankly. $42,000
Got
is
it.
a 10% down payment on a $420,000
I spent all
house.
last
Like,
night
that's
on
some
this one.
crazy shit, dude.
We're good to go.
That's some crazy shit. Yeah, it's not a microtransaction anymore. It's a mega transaction. It's like 4 or 5 cars.
It's a macro transaction.
Yeah, it bothers the shit out of me. And you may say that I'm
This is Pirate Software. This first video I've seen from Goon said he was a furry. I cannot confirm nor deny, but Goon seems to know his shit.
wrong about this, but dude, this is a feeling thing. This is not a fact thing. This feels gross to me. And you have to understand, somebody who's not invested inside of this environment looks at things like this and goes, what the hell is that? The first thing that I see when I see this, I go, that's...
Look, don't shoot the messenger, all right? Like, the messenger doesn't matter as long as it's the truth.
Disgusting. My immediate gut reaction is that's disgusting. And if you can package this in a way that makes sense to me, please do so, because I cannot get behind this. This is gross to me. It completely undermines any faith that I have in the game because it's just a gross way to be selling games. It undermines my faith in the game completely. Like, they can make a beautiful, wonderful game out of this, but this is so off-putting that I won't engage with it. Does that make sense?
Engage.
I sent you full details, including their own support page about it. Let's see. Gets a special link on the account page from their concierge club. So there is actually a page describing this. As a contributor to Star Citizen Squadron 42,
Yandere Dev Light? Oh, no.
Concierge. So they
I
actually
know
do
about
have
that,
a page
dude.
specifically describing this. God, this is so blinding. So they do actually have a page describing this, which even this, if you spend $1,000 High Admiral, so we were seeing the cost from a High Admiral slot. So they do have these different slots that unlock additional purchases. All the way up to 25,000. Jesus, dude. This stuff is nuts to me. What it reminds me of is this. A Kickstarter is a flashpoint moment for you to fund a video game. They have turned Kickstarter into a business model, an ongoing business model to me, because a lot of this stuff is non-functional. The game is not fully realized. It feels like a Kickstarter funding round that never ended. As a dev, I don't like that direction for games. I don't want that to be a thing. So, like, if you have a differing opinion, if you think the game is really good, explain to me in a way that makes this palatable. Because to me, this doesn't feel good. This
I guess just
feels
defending
bad.
it nonstop
This feels like a bad
online
direction for
to
this.
justify your
it feels
purchase.
like a Kickstarter that never ended, right? Not defending the practice in any way, but that $42,000 package is everything that is purchasable in game, and it gets updated every year to add new ships they have added to the package. Okay, I can understand that being a selling point, where they just add more and more and more new shit to it. But also, $42,000 is a salary of many people for a year on a game that is not currently fully realized. In fact, it's more than some people make in a year. More than many people make in a year. It's not a greed thing. I don't think it's a greed thing because it's obviously not going after the average consumer, right? Difficult to justify because those price tags are disgusting. That's kind of how I feel about it. I'm trying to find a way. This is why I want to have a conversation about it, because it's not about bashing people who are into Star Citizen. Don't misunderstand that. I want to talk about this, not be a dick to you because you like the video game. The game is likely going to be fine. This is just something I can't get behind. It's something that looks gross to me. It feels gross to me, if that makes sense. I would love to hear about Star Citizen review. I think the game looks compelling, but it also feels like a lot of slices of something that looks compelling that are not currently organized into a complete video game. That may change, right? They may bring that together finally into something that is a fully cohesive, fully realized environment, but they're not there yet. So seeing
maybe
these types
never.
of price tags is deeply off-putting to me as a consumer and deeply off-putting to me as a developer. So it makes me less likely to want to engage with this and want to show this to people. That's my total overall feeling for the game. It feels more like a storefront than it does a game to me because of this. Off-putting is sad. Pudding is delicious, frankly. I like the game itself, but I cannot see myself spending that much money on it. I'd rather use that kind of money on so many other things. I'm going to be real with you. I don't like spending money on games. I like buying the video game, and I like doing in-game content, to be real. The idea of purchasing something like this is something that I would never do, not just because of the price tag, but because I want to earn these things. I want them to matter to me on an emotional level, not on a
Meaningful?
I bought it. I beat the game with my credit card is
I get
not
what he
something I
means.
ever want, because it doesn't feel good to me. There's no kind of value in that to me. It's why I don't do character boosts. I just go level my character, right? Like, that's the whole point with that. Pay to win sucks. I don't even know if it's pay to win, because I don't even know if this gives you a significant advantage in the game. I have no idea.
Well, it gives you
likely
everything
does,
they've ever
because there's
made
so
in the
many more
game, they
tools it
said,
can that
and
other
they're
players
updating
don't,
it.
right?
Like,
But it's also
the
like
meta, whatever meta won't even matter.
$42,000,
You're just
right?
getting
That's freaking
everything
insane. What is
for
this? Legatus? What is that?
$40,000.
Jesus Christ. What in the shit? What do you mean in stock? It's digital goods. What do you mean in stock? That's heavily misleading. Jesus Christ. Limited slots? So we're doing limited slots on so we're doing FOMO on a $48,000 purchase. That's what we're doing? My respect level is decreasing as we have this conversation. You realize that. We're putting FOMO on a $48,000 purchase now. FOMO, fear of missing out. It is putting an emotional tie to the... We're gonna wait for the ads. We're gonna wait for the ads. I'll explain it afterwards. We wait for ads, chat. We wait. This is getting actually pretty funny.
We couldn't cut this
I'm
out
always
of
down
the
to
clip.
talk about this stuff, and I'll always give you my real take on it. This feels bad. Reminds me of Eve. Eve has a lot of pay to win now, yeah? Okay, so we're going to get back to this. So if you don't know what FOMO is fear of missing out. It's a marketing tactic that people use where they say that there's a limited number of stock or this is a limited time
People
event.
just dump shit. Somehow the devs never coded refreshing removing items
then
everywhere.
You'll miss out forever, right? So FOMO is generally used to try and force a purchase from somebody who's already on the edge. You're like, hey, you should do it now. You're going to miss out. You do it.
It's just like champs. You put your whole life in the game like this. It's not even
Normal
good.
shit happens all the time in the market. Putting artificial scarcity where you say buy it now or you miss out forever on a $48,000 purchase is insane shit. That is disgusting to me. Let me give you an example of anti-FOMO. This is FOMO. This in stock. You may miss out. The 48K is not limited. Then why does it say in stock? Why would it possibly say that? So to be real with you, a good example of anti-FOMO. A good example of anti-FOMO is actually Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2 is anti-FOMO, which is great. They don't have any of this shit. They released these paid packages of new stuff, and they didn't get rid of the old one. Their old one stays forever, and because it stays forever, you don't have to feel pressured to buy it. It is always going to be there for the lifetime of the game. They keep it forever.
Simple
So
things
that way you're never
developers
pressured,
do
oh, I
just
gotta
aren't
get it
there.
now or I'm gonna miss out. There is no miss
More
out. It's there, which is
prioritized,
great. It's a fantastic
the priority
move.
is
In fact,
nickel and
I'm gonna
diming
be
you.
incorporating this into Block Game because one of the things that I had before is I have seasonal events. Because I like seasonal events, it's kind of a fun moment for you guys to go and find items and get stuff that is actually set up around that event. Seasonal events can be fun, but for some people this ends up being FOMO because they're like, oh, I gotta go play right now or I'm gonna miss out on this. So the way that I'm gonna handle this now is instead of having it be FOMO, I want there to be random portals that can open up in Murkheim, and when those random portals open up, that one will lead to the dimension that has that seasonal event out of season. So if the community finds one, they're able to go and get some seasonal event stuff that
But isn't that
otherwise
just
they wouldn't be
more
able to get,
FOMO?
which
Because
gets rid
now
of
you're
FOMO.
looking for
And
the
it becomes a community
portals.
thing where people can
Your
have fun
fear
with
of
that.
missing
so this
out
is
on a
something
portal
I have
if it
planned
pops
for the
up.
game to remove that FOMO feel, even though they're seasonal events. Stuff that I've never seen
Oh,
before in
Mortal
a game,
Kombat FOMO?
and I was like, you know what? This would be a cool thing to do because I saw what Helldivers was doing. Yeah, so there are ways to get rid of this. It's a great idea. Yes, it ends up being really fun. It's just like a seasonal event portal, right? Some way to engage with the community, and when someone finds one, they're gonna want to tell other people about it. I'm trying to get randomized portals into their own like structure generating in Murkheim. Once I can do that, we can do some cool shit. So that's kind of the technical hurdle that I have to get over right now. That's why I can't play Warframe. Yeah, it's funny too because I like seasonal events, but I can understand. I can
Broken
understand
Mailman
that people
plays
feel like that's
Warframe.
fear of missing out, a seasonal event. So yeah, I think that's important to understand. But this is just too much.
At least
for
we
me.
played that on
I think this shit is too
PS4
much.
day
I can't
one.
feel engaged with this. I don't think I ever will,
Engage.
based on the way that they are running this. It's just gross. It's gross to me. Will AOC have anti-FOMO mentality? I don't know. Ashes of Creation has only cosmetic purchases, which makes this less of a big deal to me. You can have all the purchases.
Helldivers artificially it changes the amount of in-game credit you can earn. Same credit you can buy with the real dollar. These Helldivers ball suckers, man. Yeah, I'm sure Helldivers has his own share. If your game is live service, you can't really not have this FOMO shit one way or another. Splatoon has it too. Splatoon's limited time seasons. If your game's a live service, it kind of just has to have FOMO shit or stuff that can be interpreted as FOMO.
Purchases you want. If
It's
that
kind of
shit's
the
just
name of the
cosmetic, I don't
business.
give a shit. I don't care. The only time that cosmetic purchases become a problem is mounts in World of Warcraft. Do you know why? It's a pretty simple one, too. If you have a mount in the store, and the mount in the store is really, really good, but it costs money, and this development team spent a lot of time making this a really good mount, and then you have a mount that comes from effort-based mount, so it's store mount and an effort mount. Let's say that this mount is from getting mythic raid boss down, right?
Yeah,
And it's
Helldivers
bad.
probably,
It's just
you know,
a recolor.
end of
Then
the
we
day,
have a
it's probably not
problem.
as bad
You need
as
to make sure
this.
that these two
Probably. No, it
things are
isn't.
in parity with each other. This one feels really good, and this one also feels really good. Effort mounts need to be unique, store mounts need to be unique, and that's hard to do because the development
Yeah,
studio
collab
largely
events, that
goes,
would be
"Holy shit,
FOMO,
every
like,
time
just
we
'cause of
release a new mount
legality."
for $15, it's like releasing an entire video game, but with none of the cost. It's a big deal. It's really a lot of money to do this. It's a huge amount of money to do this, and slowly over time, without having proper controls in place, your development team starts to shift towards a cycle of releasing new mounts for money rather than releasing new mounts for effort, and then it erodes player effort in the game. And you have to make sure not to have that be a problem, right? So that ends up being an issue. So that's the one thing you have to think about when you're like, I'm going to do a mounts for money thing. And WoW kind of screwed that up for a long time. And I know that because it was an endgame raider and it bothered shit out of me.
Well, there you go. The Star Citizen scam. That really kind of... I did not know they were selling that fucking bundle. Big up, Seal. Thank you for that, Redeem. We have one from Scrumbles that's really short, and then we'll get to the Gondola one. But yeah, it's just like, it doesn't matter what the game is. If it's live service, games as a service, all that bullshit, it just kind of has to have FOMO. Because that's how you get people to play it, whether it's, again, the events or stuff in the shop. There's degrees to it, not all black and white, shades of gray and all that bullshit. But if it's just that kind of model,
it's just gonna have to deal with that no matter what. Again, some games are better at it than others, all this and that. Obviously, Helldivers 2 is not as bad at it as, say, Scam Citizen. Okay, this is from our good friend. Ah yes, DSP Society, Historical Society. The king streak ends while DSP begs constantly. Why would a king ever need to beg? Good question. I haven't been watching his Astrobot streams because I don't want to spoil myself on the game when I eventually get around to it. This is 20 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. There was a troll sock account that's complaining about the amount of times I've asked for contributions. So yeah, we'll watch this. Ready? Please contribute. Please contribute. Please contribute. Please contribute. Please contribute. You like that, bitch? I said as much as I want. You kiss my ass. Okay.
Boy, he is just on one. Now, I'll say minus the usage of the word bitch. That is basically DSP streams to an exaggerated degree. That is kind of like, I mean, he kind of just described his own, like, that is the DSP experience. What are you talking about? He doesn't always insult you when he does the beg. Sometimes he'll do it. Thank you, Scrumbles, for the mini catch-up segment. Disgusting. Glad I have not been watching the Astrobot playthrough. Got Gondola with a kind of a lengthy video here. Looks like true crime. Big ups Toastman. Hello. Yeah, good one, DSP. You really showed us by ... accurately describing your content. In the Name of Satan, The Evidence Room, episode 35. Ooh. Sadly, he didn't get 200 deaths in Astrobot before I got 2,000 fallouts in this game. But he's not gonna 100% Astrobot.
His fantasy and his hatred towards women.
The cult compound there went up in flames and burned to the ground.
I'm doing all right. Thank you for asking.
Inside,
hello, sir.
Of them children.
Beth was stabbed approximately 114 times. A lot of rage, a lot of anger.
DSP, a lot of rage, a lot of anger.
Under his trench coat when he entered the school that morning.
I was scared for my life.
It is just unspeakable evil.
She is evil. That is the face of evil.
It's the Last of Us 2 theme? What is this? Ah yes, viewer discretion may be advised.
Okay, it is now 2:58. We're back at Homicide. Corporal Travis in interview room number 5.
Nah, I think he'll finish the game. He won't 100% it, but he'll beat it.
In all of my 25 years,
it ain't that hard.
I've seen a lot of evil, and I've seen a lot of crime scenes and crime scene photos.
Yeah, man, I beat the baby platformer. What fucked? You guys thought I was gonna fucking drop it. Joke's on you.
Victor, you realize I'm a homicide detective, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any idea why you're here?
Because I got blamed for something.
What do you think you got blamed for?
We dealing with like a satanic cult. It's a cult of hate.
Was in shock, in fear. I mean, you have what looks like some type of satanic ritual.
You found out your news station did true crime tonight. Hey, big ups.
You got to tell us why this happened.
My news station does like
and some kind of a soul in you.
They do viewer complaints about mundane shit in ordinary life. And they do product reviews for stuff you see on TV.
Well, HPD's crime scene unit, they were here for some time along with criminal intelligence. Now, that woman was found in a 2-story apartment unit. You can see bags of evidence outside in that yellow crime scene tape. Officers say what they found inside was beyond strange.
Some residents noticed the door to apartment 5 was open. One of them went inside and found the female there.
After that resident called 911 around 4 a.m., police arrived to the Bays apartment complex off El Camino Real near Ramada. When they opened the door to the vacant two-story unit, they found a woman's body, partially clothed, who appeared to be in her early 30s.
She had severe head trauma. Not sure exactly yet.
They dented her, bros.
Detectives say they also don't know her name or where she lived because they didn't find her ID. For hours, officers interviewed neighbors at the scene. Did they say that they heard anything?
Some of the residents heard some unusual sounds on Wednesday, which, according to the ME, is possibly the time of death.
I'm concerned about my parents' safety.
Jonathan Martinez's mother has been living here for 16 years. He tells us he would like more protection for the complex.
Anybody could come in here,
Highway
there's no security whatsoever.
According to investigators, the evidence surrounding her body reveals that there were some strange and abnormal events leading up to her death. What officers found inside was so puzzling, they had to call out detectives with the Criminal Intelligence Division to investigate.
My name is John Jordan. I'm the Trial Bureau Chief in the Harris County District Attorney's Office. Our victim is Corianne Cervantes. She was a 15-year-old girl. She was living and growing up in the Friendswood area of town. Typical 15-year-old girl. She was being raised by her father, a single dad. She was loved greatly by him as well as her aunt that was very present in her life. And she was struggling as a 15-year-old, as many do, and got in an argument with her dad, left the apartment. And it would have been nice if she had gone into the hands of friends that would listen to her, counsel her, pick her up.
Sense on the water.
She went into the arms
of
Jose Reyes and Victor Alice, who took advantage of the situation, and by the end of the night, she was dead.
You realize what you say in this room is going to decide decades of your life? But we're not playing games?
Yeah, I know.
Okay?
I'm
not playing games, man.
No, you're not. You're not even close. You haven't even started touching the truth yet, Victor.
They end up going to a known apartment complex somewhat nearby over in Clear Lake because they lived in Friendswood. And they ended up going into this known vacant apartment. Many of the teenagers would be able to slip in there through sliding glass doors or open windows. It was basically a dump. It was, there was stuff everywhere. And they went there that evening, and then they ended up taking advantage, in my opinion, of Corianne and her state, and they ended up involved in a consensual threesome inside a closet underneath the stairwell in that vacant apartment. So it was a very small space.
Where did you go with Corianne and Jose?
Corianne, we were at her friend's apartment.
And then where did y'all go?
Then we left.
To where?
I left to my house.
No.
Yes, I did.
You're already starting to lie.
The only shot you have.
Oh, yeah. He's arguing that. Yeah, I did, SA.
And making this thing in any way as right as it possibly can be is to start telling the truth.
She knew them prior to the murder.
They were friends from the same apartment complex, the same area, from just hanging out together.
You gonna say I'm lying, Ming?
Jose Reyes was 17, Victor Alice was 16, and Corianne was 15. We're not talking
just a bunch of dumb kids, a lot of
friends, but teenagers that had things in common, as teenagers do, and potentially smoking pot together, things of that nature. So, at first glance, you know, Jose Reyes was a good-looking kid. From all accounts, somewhat charismatic. Victor Alice was kind of a follower, kind of quiet. And they would hang out together. They would hang out in apartments together. There was one middle-aged woman named Candy, we called in trial, that would actually let them hang out in an apartment and serve them alcohol and let them drink and things of that nature. It was
shameful.
Teenagers who probably were experimenting with things they shouldn't have experimented with.
Yeah, what the fuck, Candy?
We all should be
supposed to be giving kids this shit.
Because I think we all do things as teenagers that leads to us being better people. According to Jose Reyes, Corianne at some point bit his penis.
What?
He told that to his sister. He told that to his friends.
Yeah, man, she
afterwards.
bit my penis.
So we can conclude from this that even though it may have began as
It was like, hey,
consensual,
wait.
at some point, I believe they got too rough with her. And that bite was a defense mechanism to stop it. Oh yeah, they stopped, but then they continued with the brutal crime. According to Jose Reyes, he picked up an ashtray. We never found an ashtray, so maybe it was a broken off porcelain piece that people use as an ashtray, and he hit her upside the head.
Oh, did she think nothing was gonna happen? Alright, let me just bite on his cock. Nothing's gonna go wrong.
Inside that closet, and in fact, her head hit the top of the.
I should have made light of it. This is a serious thing.
Ceiling in that closet because it's underneath the staircase. It was a coat closet. Her head hits that, so we know that's where the altercation began. By both of their accounts, she tried to run. And that's consistent with the crime scene because she is found right outside that
big
closet.
ups. Almighty _ Tevin. Gondola Gaming has discovered that his local news channel does true crime. So we're learning about this case today. Some lady bit the cock of this dude, and I guess he killed her. It's like, hey, you can't bite my cock, way. Hello.
They take
What happens when you hang out with the wrong crowd?
Of a commode made of porcelain that had been laying on the ground. It's not like they went to the bathroom.
Oh,
to
they
get it,
smacked her
and
head on the
Jose
commode, I
picked it
bet.
up and hit her upside the head. At least once, probably multiple times. There was porcelain in her skull area and her hair.
Thank you, Tevin.
They then
became really good old self-felt.
The rod.
Perfect.
From the window blinds. And
yeah, she
with
bit my
one of those
swollen one.
rods, they attempted to gouge out one of her eyes.
Oh, whoa.
At some point.
Now, does that punishment really fit the crime? Like, oh, I bit your cock, but like your cock's still there. Like, do you really gotta gouge out my eyes?
They take a small screwdriver, the smallest screwdriver in a set that was probably laying around, and stabbed her over 60 times.
Okay, JC, but getting stabbed over 60 times. I guess his manhood was visually and spiritually affected.
Do you think she deserved that? You want to see the pictures?
Yeah, I think
they're pretty bad.
What you did.
What happened in that apartment, Victor?
She bit my dick, ese. Muchacho.
Another teenager goes into that apartment to smoke pot, like a lot of the teenagers did, and he discovers that horrific scene. He is in shock.
That's kind of fucked up. They just left it to that kid to discover. Dude, that probably scarred him for the rest of his life.
Adults in the complex he knows, these engineers who are up late gaming, and they can't really make out what he is saying. He's like, she's hurt, she's hurt, she's hurt, and they
she ain't just hurt, she
and
dead.
They discover the body, and they're the ones who called 911.
That used to be a 15-year-old girl with her life ahead of her. You did this.